Hit it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Hello and welcome to Football Live. Yes, I am Richard Parr. We've got a fantastic afternoon of football for you. We've got action coming from the English Premier League. It's Sheffield United versus Brighton. That's just kicked off at Bramall Lane. And also later this afternoon, it's Luton Town who are fighting against relegation against an in-form Manchester United. Will they be challenging for a European place? That is a fascinating game coming up this afternoon here on Football Live. We'll also be covering the Italian League. We'll be covering the Dutch League. We'll be covering the Bundesliga, including Bayern Munich, who play later today away at Bochum. Can Bayern get back in form? They're now 8 points behind the leaders, Bayer Leverkusen. Can Harry Kane get his shooting boots back on and help boost the side from Munich? But as I mentioned, we've got two Premier League games going on today. The first one is between Sheffield United and Brighton. We're only a couple of minutes into that match, so let's get some team news early on. Let's go to Johnny Holmes. Johnny.
Hi Richard, good afternoon everybody. Yes, Chris Wilder has made a couple of tinkers to his starting 11 for this one. It was a massive win last time out away against Luton, but for this one, Osula comes in up top as a replacement for Archer, while Larousse takes the spot of Norrington Davis. Moving on to Brighton, it's three changes from Roberto De Zerbi, who reportedly was suffering from toothache and had to miss their last match against Spurs. Bart Verbruggen gets the nod in the latest twist of Brighton's eternal goalkeeping battle. Adingra, fresh from winning the Africa Cup of Nations with Ivory Coast, is back in, as is Webster. Estupinian and Lallana drop out for the away side.
Thank you very much there, Johnny. You've reminded me that I need to book a dental appointment. I'll go and do that now. So that's the game we'll be keeping an eye on in the English Premier League. I mentioned the Eredivisie. It's been a topsy-turvy season so far for Ajax Amsterdam. Of course, they signed Jordan Henderson a few weeks ago, and they are trying to push further up the table. They are now up to 5th. They're currently playing NEC Nijmegen. That game kicked off just over half an hour ago. Cameron Wilson's been following this. Cameron, what's the latest?
Yeah, NEC, they've had a real good chance just to equalise the game. It goes through on the left-hand side with Hansen. He just needs to round the keeper or just drive it round. Instead, he panics and he hits it straight at him. He's really poor and should have made it so much better. But for Ajax, Robbie's been the real danger man. He was one that got the layoff for Banel to give the go-ahead goal. It's 1-0 Ajax, NEC 0, 33 minutes in.
Fantastic. Thank you there, Cameron. We're also keeping an eye on Italy. Udinese had that surprise win last weekend against Juventus. Today they face Claudio Ranieri and Cagliari at the Stadio Friuli. Covering that one for us is Ryan Benjamin. Ryan, what's the team news there?
Yeah, good afternoon, Richard. This huge Serie A relegation clash sees 15th place Udinese line up in a 3-5-2 formation. It's the same team who beat Juventus in their previous game. Top scorer Lorenzo Luca leads the line, with Nigerian shot stopper Maduka Okoye in goal and fellow Super Eagle Isaac Success on the bench. As for second bottom Cagliari, Claudio Ranieri has gone for a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's made 4 changes from the team who lost 3-1 against Lazio last time out. Top scorer Leonardo Pavoletti is on the bench today. They kicked off about a minute ago. It's still 0-0 between Udinese and Cagliari.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We are keeping an eye on the Premier League and the game between Sheffield United and Brighton. Johnny Holmes, I believe there's been an early chance.
Yeah, good bright start from Sheffield United, the home side, working it down the right-hand side. And a chance fell for Ben Osborne, who took a shot just outside the box. It was palmed away by Bart Verbruggen in the Brighton goal. Good start from Sheffield United this, although Brighton have had their first little spell and now have a corner. 0-0, 3 minutes played.
So that's the 3 featured games we're following early on here on Football Live. We've got Sheffield United versus Brighton. We've also got Udinese versus Cagliari. And we're also keeping an eye on Ajax versus NEC Nijmegen. So how about let's have a look at some of the odds with NairaBet. And here is John Kane.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, good afternoon everyone, and the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these odds are
are from Naira website, and of course all these prices are subject to change. Let's start with the Premier League game. Sheffield United Brighton, 4 minutes gone, it's still 0-0. Sheffield United at home, they are 4.75 for the win. The draw is 4.20, and away win for Brighton is 1.67. The Ajax game, 35 minutes gone, the lead in Nijmegen by a goal to nil. Ajax at home, they are 1.30 for the win. The draw is 5.50, and away win for Nijmegen, who are losing 1-0, are 10.0. It's half time between Rayo Vallecano and Real Madrid. It's 1-1 there. Rayo Vallecano are 6.50 for the win. The draw is 2.80, and away win for Real Madrid is 1.85. In Serie A, it's 0-0 in 2 games so far. Udinese, Cagliari, with the game we're keeping an eye on. Udinese are 1.91 for the win. The draw has just gone down to 3.50, and away win for Cagliari is 4.20. Empoli, Fiorentina, it's 0-0. Empoli is 3.30 for the win. The draw also 3.30, and away win for Fiorentina, who are slightly favourites for that game, is 2.25. I'm trying to find the Saudi Pro League because they've already started. Al Hilal, they took an early lead after 2 minutes through Mitrovic. They're leading by a goal to nil after 2 minutes. They are 1.05 for the win, so more or less suspended already. The draw is 9.50, and are rated to win that game. They're 21.0, and literally most of the game left in that game. All the prices are from Naira, and of course they're all subject to change.
Thank you very much, John Kane, there with the latest odds from Naira. John did mention there La Liga. It is Rayo Vallecano 1 and Real Madrid 1. The former Newcastle and Stoke striker Joselu getting the early goal for Real Madrid, but De Thomas got the equaliser for Rayo Vallecano. We will be having excellent exclusive coverage between Granada and Almeria coming up later in that relegation battle. You've got to get ready to listen to that one. We'll be having full coverage on that from Ethan Gardner coming up. We are keeping an eye on the Premier League. We're keeping an eye on the Italian League. We're keeping an eye on the Dutch League. But of course, we also have the Saudi League, as John mentioned. It's Al Hilal 1, Al Riyadh 0, Mitrovic with the goal. But it really was a fantastic day in the English Premier League on Saturday. We saw wins from Liverpool. They were winners 4-1 at Brentford. We saw another incredible performance by Arsenal. They were 5-0 winners at Burnley. But Manchester City slipped up against Chelsea. Raheem Sterling had put Chelsea ahead against his former club. And City, they had a misfiring Erling Haaland who just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. But they did finally get an equaliser through Rodri late on to earn a draw, and a 1-1 draw in the end. But it was a fantastic day for Arsenal. They've now scored 21 goals in their last 5 games. It's incredible. So let's hear now the thoughts of their manager, Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, really happy, obviously, with the performance, with the results, with individual and collective as well. Contribution of every single player that's been very, very good. And the fact that the team looked like he wanted more. They want to concede a goal, so I'm really pleased to hit that consistency. Yeah, obviously that we want to dominate the game and play in the opponent's half as much as possible, and they really want it. And we have momentum now, and we have to maintain it. Now we leave the Premier League, we go to Porto, which we know is going to be a really, really tough environment and game to play against, and just prepare well to go again and be ourselves.
Well, Sheffield United and Brighton are playing currently in the Premier League. The last time these two sides met was in the FA Cup, where Brighton won 5-2. But I believe Brighton have had a huge chance in the game today. Let's go to you, Johnny Holmes.
Yeah, it looks for all the world like that was going to just trickle into the back of the net as Brighton work it on the right-hand side. They've not come forward too much, the away side, in the first 8 or 9 minutes of this game. Forward came Mitoma with the ball and switches it out to Adingra. And it's Adingra who has it on the right-hand side and just slides across. And it's actually deflected goalwards by a Sheffield United defender. And Wes Foderingham is trying to claw it away. He's scampering backwards towards his goal line. Is it going to cross the line? No, it isn't, because Foderingham claws it away and just gets it to safety. That could easily have been 1-0 to the away side. But as it stands, 0-0 here after 9 minutes.
Yes, that is our featured game. here on Football Live in the English Premier League. We've got Luton versus Manchester United coming up. They're on a 3-game winning streak in the English Premier League. Rasmus Højlund in great form up front for Manchester United. Let's get the latest now in the Italian league. That's our feature game at the Stadio Friuli between Udinese and Cagliari. We're probably about 10 minutes into that match. Covering that for us is Ryan Benjamin. Ryan, what's the latest there?
Yeah, rather cagey as you'd maybe expect for this relegation clash. Udinese are kind of on the front foot and they look like they're slightly better side, but Cagliari have them at arm's length. There was a shot earlier from Gaetano where he cut inside from about 25 yards, but it was comfortably saved by Akore. I think it's going to be a rather attritional game, I reckon. It's about 8 minutes gone, Udinese 0, Cagliari 0.
So that's the latest from the Italian league. We've got lots of games that we're covering here. We're going to be covering the Bundesliga later between Freiburg and Frankfurt. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. And then later this afternoon, it's Bochum versus Bayern. But as we mentioned, the Italian league, it's currently Empoli 0, Fiorentina 0. Earlier today, Bologna were 2-1 winners against Lazio. As we've just heard, it's Udinese 0, Cagliari 0. Later today, it's Frosinone against AS Roma. And it's Monza against AC Milan. But as I mentioned there, Frosinone are facing AS Roma. Roma have made a managerial change in the last few weeks with Daniele De Rossi replacing Jose Mourinho. And Mourinho has been speaking in the last couple of days about his exit from Roma. Let's take a listen.
I can say he's the one that hurted me more. I can say that. You can ask me why. Because I gave everything. I gave my heart. I gave even some options that could be considered not very clever by the professional point of view. I refused great working opportunities. The first one was even very, very hard to refuse because it was Portugal, and Portugal with national team, with probably the best national team ever. 3 years before a World Cup. Then I had a big one from Saudi. I didn't hide it at the time because was really big.
Jose Mourinho there, the former Roma manager, whose name has been connected with a possible Bayern Munich job. If Thomas Tuchel doesn't turn around a few of the results there in Munich, we'll have to keep an eye on that. One of the things we're also keeping an eye on is the Eredivisie, the Dutch league. The game is between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Cameron Wilson is following this. Cam, what's the latest?
Not too much. Ajax, since taking the lead, they've started to play much more conservative. They're just trying to keep the ball and they're looking really vulnerable to an attack from NEC. They've had a few chances, but they can't seem to get any of it on target. Hugo Michaels took a long shot for about 40 yards and it went 80 yards over the bar. But for Ajax, nothing special. If it's not going to be coming through Brobby, nothing much is going to happen. It's 1-0 Ajax, 43 minutes in.
Thank you very much there, Cam. And there are some dramatic scenes going on at Bramall Lane. Johnny Holmes, what has happened?
Oh, it's a horrible tackle and the VAR has got involved here. It's Holgate, it's red for Holgate. Mason Holgate sent off for Sheffield United. The referee has originally given a yellow card, but it's a horrendous, out of control, studs, high challenge. It's a simple red card, easy as you like, clear as day. He's diving in with both feet. He's high, the studs are showing. It's not ankle, it's higher than the ankle, it's more towards the knee. That, in the modern game, is a red card any day of the week, and VAR has got involved and sent off Mason Holgate. What a tough afternoon this could be for home side Sheffield United, down to 10 men after only 13 minutes.
Thank you, Johnny. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, they shipped 5 against Brighton and Hove Albion in the FA Cup only a few weeks ago. They're now down to 10 men, and Brighton now have players such as Matoma returning from the Asian Cup and Simon Adingra. It'll be interesting to see how they can hold on against the Brighton side who, when they're on it, are really on it. So I mentioned the German Bundesliga. We're focusing on 2 games. Freiburg face Frankfurt. That kicks off in about 15 minutes. So let's get some team news there with Ed Dowling. Ed.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Stade Europa Park. It's a close affair here today between Frankfurt and Freiburg in 6th and 8th respectively. Freiburg coming off that good result in midweek in the Europa League against Lens. They're playing their usual 3-4-2-1 system. Captain Vincenzo Grifo is behind Lucas Höhler at striker. And we've got that really good, really interesting front three for Frankfurt here today. It's the loanee from Wolves, Sasa Kalajdzic, alongside Omar Marmoush and Fares Shaibi in the 10. Should be a really exciting game here. Whoever wins has a real good shot of getting into those European places, and kick-off is about 15 minutes away.
Thank you, Ed. And we've had a goal in Italy at the Stadio Friuli.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, it's the game we're covering here on Football Live between Udinese and Cagliari. And Udinese, you may remember, won last week against Juventus, and Zamora has the goal there. It's come inside the first 15 minutes in this match between Udinese and Cagliari. We'll be speaking to our reporter Ryan Benjamin very shortly about that goal. We've got a lot of games going on in Italy today. Empoli are playing Fiorentina. Earlier today, Bologna beat Lazio 2-1, and a little bit later it's Frosinone against Roma and Monza versus AC Milan. But we're a quarter of an hour in between Udinese and Cagliari, and it's Udinese 1, Cagliari 0. We'll get a report on that in just a moment, but there's more drama in the game between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Johnny Holmes, what's happened?
Oh, it could be going from bad to worse here for Sheffield United. After 15 minutes, already down to 10 men. That reckless challenge from Mason Holgate. And now their goalkeeper is down, seemingly with an injury. It seems that down on the pitch here, there's been an injury for the goalkeeper. I'm trying to work out what's happened because it seems relatively innocuous. Down on the ground, Wes Fodringham, it seems to be, who has got an injury. Chris Wilder there is trying to work out what to do and how to manage this situation. But up now is Fodringham, doing some stretches, some workouts. We've not seen a replay what happened to the Sheffield United goalkeeper, so I'll get some information on that when I find it. But as things stand, it is still 0-0 after 16 minutes.
Yep, concerning scenes there for the fans of Sheffield United with their team down to 10 and now their goalkeeper with a little bit of an injury. We'll see what happens there. Johnny Holmes is all across it. Now, I mentioned a goal in Serie A between Udinese and Cagliari. Ryan, what's happened?
Yeah, brilliant strike from Jordan Zamora, the former Bournemouth man, cut inside on the edge of the box on his weaker right foot and absolutely drilled the ball past the goalkeeper to put his side 1-0 up. It was a brilliant move actually from Udinese. It was Kingsley Ajore from the right-hand side, the right back, who is from the Netherlands but actually wants to represent Nigeria internationally. He whipped in a cross, it missed everybody, and it got to Zamora, who smashed it in the back of the net. 15 minutes gone, Udinese 1, Cagliari 0.
Yep, two sides who are battling for survival in Serie A, but this could be a really important win for Udinese. Cagliari have lost their last 4 league games in a row, and they're falling down to second to bottom in the table, and it could be getting worse for them. All right, it's half-time in the game that we are following in the Eredivisie between Ajax and NEC. Cam Wilson.
Yep, after Benel's goal, Ajax have really decided they're going to take the foot off the gas and let NEC try and break them down, and they just can't do it. It got from bad to worse. Proper just tries some the Canio-esque kick in the air, and it just goes flying out, almost like it was a perfect pass to Benel on the left-hand side, and he couldn't believe it, and he ends up just running it off the pitch. Neither team can seem to get a hold of the game. There's a lack of real focus, and if things stay the same, Jordan Henderson will get his first win in an Ajax shirt. It's 1-0 Ajax.
Cam, you mentioned there the lack of focus. Since John Van Schip has been in charge, his side haven't kept a clean sheet in 13 fixtures in all competitions. Can they do it this time around, do you think?
It would much more depend on if NEC can take their chances and get that final ball, because their end quality has been so poor. Ajax defending, they defend very open. It seems to be only Henderson who wants to get back in the midfield, and Jordan Henderson, when he gets the ball, he's just giving it away. I wouldn't imagine too many more goals in this game, but you just don't know. A screamer could happen at any point.
Thank you very much there, Cam. So it is Ajax 1, NEC Nijmegen 0 in the Eredivisie. The two games we're focusing on at the moment are between Sheffield United and Brighton in the English Premier League, and in Italy between Udinese and Cagliari. But let's get some of the latest odds with NairoBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairoBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairoBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change, as you know. Sheffield United playing with 10 men after 19 minutes. Still 0-0, however. In fact, Rich, we've got a goal, haven't we?
We have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairoBet.
Yes, we have a goal in our featured game in the English Premier League between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton facing a team with only 10 men. Sheffield United having a player sent off for a pretty dangerous tackle, Mason Holgate, after the referee had a second look at it. But we believe that Brighton now have the lead. And Johnny Holmes, you're following this game. What has happened?
It's a corner. It's Brighton and Hove Albion who lead, and it's to be expected as they have 11 men. Sheffield United down to 10. It's whipped in from the corner by Pascal Gross. At the back post, their captain Lewis Dunk rises highest and sort of nods it down back into the danger area, back into the mixer, you could say. And it's been deflected goalwards and into the back of the net. I'm still waiting to see who's got on the end of it. I think it's Buonanotte who was in there. Yes, it is. Buonanotte has been accredited with this goal. It's a scrappy one. It ping-pongs around from Lewis Dunks' knockdown, but a diving header, and it deflects in. And is it Buonanotte? We're going to get a replay for this conclusive evidence. It could well go down as an own goal, this. It deflects in off a Sheffield United defender. But the main thing for Brighton is they lead by 1-0 after 20 minutes here.
Yes, an important lead for Brighton and Hove Albion. In front of me, I'm seeing Buonanotte. We will get confirmation of exactly who that will be credited to as we continue our coverage here on Football Live, here with Brilla FM. And I mentioned earlier, yesterday's action in the English Premier League was outstanding. The title race is wide open. We've got some fantastic performances being played by the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal in recent weeks. Liverpool 4-1 winners at Brentford. We've also got Arsenal, who are on fire up front, scoring lots of goals, 21 in their last 5 games. They were 5-0 winners away at Burnley. Burnley were pretty poor, if truth be told, but Arsenal looking so potent up front. But it was Manchester City who just slipped, who just couldn't get the 3 points when they were at home to Chelsea, a Chelsea side who you never really know what you're going to get with them at the moment, but they did get a 1-1 draw at the Etihad Stadium. John Kane, the title race is fascinating right now. What can we take away from that Manchester City performance and the fact that they couldn't get 3 points?
You know what, we were covering the game yesterday, and with the chances that Haaland had and he missed, there were plenty, weren't they? There were plenty of chances for Manchester City to turn that game from just being 1-1 and a scrappy 1-1 to 3-1 or 4-1. But Haaland is not the same Haaland as he was last season. And if you look at the goal difference that Man City have, it's only 31 in comparison to Liverpool, which is 35, and Arsenal, 36 goal difference. You know, they scored 1 goal more than Manchester City, but they conceded more than Arsenal and Liverpool. So the goals issue seems to be their problem at the moment for Manchester City. It's not the end of the world. They've still got a game in hand, so they're on 53 points. They'll go above Arsenal if they can win their next game, with the game in hand. But no, performance-wise, they were convincing, weren't they? It's just that result that they seems to, in front of goals, and Haaland yesterday was it was criminal. It was absolutely criminal for Man City not to score more than 1 goal, but credit to Chelsea, doesn't it? In the end of the day, they went away from home, they are still building their team, and they managed to hold on to that 1-1 draw in the end, including, even though there was so much pressure being piled on in the last few minutes of that game, but credit to Chelsea.
Yeah, a great performance by them. I'd love to talk about that more, but there seems to be so much action going on at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Johnny, what's going on?
Oh, it's really opened up here for both Sheffield United and then Brighton themselves afterwards as Sheffield United come forward. Big chance. Gus Harmer trying to run through the defence, nearly does so, and his shot is just wide. And then Brighton down the other end, Mitoma with a penalty shout not given. But back to you, Richard. We've got a goal.
Yes, there seems to have been a goal in that game between Sheffield United and Brighton.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Johnny Holmes, what's happened at Bramall Lane?
Danny Welbeck has just doubled the lead for the away side, and Sheffield United down to 10 men, starting to fall apart here. It's palmed out by Fodringham, who seems to have recovered from that injury, but he couldn't do enough to divert it away from the incoming Danny Welbeck. It's a poacher's goal. It's right place, right time for Danny Welbeck. Adingra on the right-hand side. It's played out wide for Adam Webster, back inside, whipped in, Matoma at the back post plays it across, and that's when Fodringham palms it away, and Danny Welbeck is there to fire home. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2 after 25 minutes.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live.
Football Live is back on Brilla FM next Saturday afternoon. Join Dean Kilford from 3:45, an action-packed afternoon of 6 featured matches in the Premier League. Manchester United against Fulham and the champions Manchester City make the trip to Bournemouth. And there's Bundesliga action too, Bayern Munich against Leipzig. Join us next Saturday for another action-packed show. Football Live, exclusive on Brilla FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody.
Absolute screamer. Banging form into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying. What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's a problem.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bets must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back.
Welcome back
to Football Live.
To Football Live.
On Brilla FM.
On Brilla FM. Let's get back to the big match action.
Get it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Yes, welcome back to Football Live on Brilla FM. We're concentrating on 2 games in the English Premier League today. Later today, it's Luton versus Manchester United. Manchester United looking to make it 4 Premier League wins on the bounce against the Luton side, who did lose last weekend to Sheffield United. And that reminds us of the game we're following right now between Sheffield United and Brighton in the English Premier League. And Brighton are looking good at the moment. Johnny Holmes, I believe they've had another chance.
Yeah, it's another chance for Brighton, and Sheffield United do not look like repeating the feat that they managed over Luton last weekend. That 3-1 win seems a mile away here as Brighton are swarming all over them. 11 men to 10, of course, and it's a shot over the bar by Adingra with a bit of space just on the edge of the box. He fires over on the half volley, slices it high and wide, but Brighton pour forward again, and it does feel like this one could get messy if Brighton start to take these chances. It's Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, 28 minutes played.
Well, it certainly sounds like the cure for toothache, if ever I've heard, with Roberto De Zerbi needing to go to the dentist earlier this week. So I mentioned that Manchester City had a stuttering 1-1 draw against Chelsea. They've got the chance to close the gap when they play Brentford on Tuesday. They'll be home to the Brentford side, which lost 4-1 yesterday to Liverpool. But let's now get the reaction of Pep Guardiola after that 1-1 draw with Chelsea.
We don't perform our level in the first half, and when you play teams that composer and prestigious like Chelsea, you have to perform 94, 95 minutes at your best. We start to play after concede a goal, like to make, what happened here, and we were not in our best, and it can happen, the transitions, when you are in your best, you concede transitions, and it happened, but after we react like we are, and we create a lot. Of course, they had the 1 or 2 transitions for the quality because had the ability to keep the ball and grab a good runners up front. And the result is that.
Pep Guardiola there after Manchester City drew 1-1 with Chelsea. But it really is all Brighton at the moment against Sheffield United. Johnny, what's happened now?
Oh, it's raining chances here for Brighton as forward comes Mitoma, who does really, really well on the left-hand side, beats his man and fires across at pace, across Fodringham's goal. It's deflected away off the line. It then comes out towards Danny Welbeck, who fires, strikes goalwards, and it's blocked off the line again. Somehow Sheffield United avoid going 3-0 down. They so easily could have done. As things stand, Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, nearly 3 after half an hour.
Yeah, nearly 3, but it's still 2-0 between Sheffield United and Brighton. Our featured game in the Spanish League coming up in just over 45 minutes' time is a battle between the bottom 2 sides, between Granada and Almeria. Ethan Gardner's covering this for us. Ethan, what's the team news?
Well, both sides make 3 changes today from their last La Liga fixtures. Granada choosing to shore up their defence, which makes sense considering they conceded 3 in their last match, although they'll take that considering it was a 3-3 draw away against Barcelona at the Nou Camp. Almeria also making 3 changes, 2 of them enforced. Of course, Lagi Ramazani, their left winger, being sent off in the last game, and Senegalese midfielder Dion Lopi going off injured. So a couple of changes have been rung in, with Jonathan Vieira the biggest change for them. He looks an exciting addition in attacking midfield, having joined recently. Of course, Granada, a win here takes them just 4 points from safety. They're looking to fight back and try and stay in the division, while Almeria are fighting not to beat an embarrassing record, points low in Europe. They are winless so far this season. Should be an intriguing match. We kick off in just under 45 minutes.
Thank you very much there, Ethan. The game that we're focusing on in the Bundesliga right now is between Freiburg and Frankfurt, and the game there has just kicked off. Ed Dowling, what's going on?
Yeah, open exchanges here at the Stade Europa Park. As there often is in these German games, a big sort of layer of fog from all the flares they're setting off. It's a pretty important game here for both teams. They're both kind of away from the main leading pack of the Bundesliga, but a win here would do a world of good for either team's aspirations in the Europa League or indeed the Conference League. No real chances to speak of, but we're only 3 minutes in. I'm expecting this to be a good one. 0-0 here so far.
Thank you very much, Ed, there with the latest from the Bundesliga. So the game between Al Hilal and Al Raid in the Saudi Arabian League is now 2-0. Mitrovic scoring his second, this time from the penalty spot. And we've got a goal in the Italian League. It's Empoli 0, Fiorentina 1. Beltran scoring after just half an hour there. But it seems like Sheffield United have made quite a drastic measure in their game against Brighton at Bramall Lane. Johnny, what's happened?
They really have. First of all, a chance for Brighton once again. Danny Welbeck with a header that is well saved by Fodringham. But spare a thought for young William Osula, who was given a start here today at home, and after half an hour has been brought off to make way for central defender Trusty, as Sheffield look to go defensive here. Already 2-0 down, already bringing on more defenders to try and shore up and avoid embarrassment. It is Sheffield United 0, and it is Brighton and Hove Albion 2 after 33 minutes.
Thank you, Johnny. There's been a good chance in the game between Udinese and Cagliari at the Stadio Friuli in Serie A. Ryan, what's happened?
Yeah, Udinese, the better side for sure. They can move up to 13th with a win today and put some space between them and the relegation zones, but their top scorer Lorenzo Luca, looking to add to his 6 goals already this season, had a brilliant chance, a free header from around 8 yards out, and he's just got it wrong, really. He's put it a couple of yards wide. He should have buried it. He was annoyed with himself, and you're not surprised. He's their leading goal scorer, and he's been crying out for a chance like that all game. Half an hour gone, Udinese 1, Cagliari 0.
Thank you very much there, Ryan Benjamin. That's one of 4 games that we're following very closely right now here on Football Live. And one of them has just begun the second half. That's in the Eredivisie between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Cameron Wilson is following that for us.
Yeah, and NEC, they should have equalised. It's a brilliant run down the left-hand side by Hansen. Absolutely leads his man for dead. Whips in the ball. And it falls to Agawa perfectly in the centre of the box, right on the penalty area, and he just smashes it as hard as he can. But Ramírez is brave, and he just manages to punch it over the bar, almost falling into the post. And he keeps the game with Ajax in the lead. It's 1-0 Ajax, 48 minutes in.
Thank you very much there, Cameron. Now, the game between Freiburg and Frankfurt are 2 sides which are really trying to push to get into those European places. Frankfurt, of course, were Europa League winners only a few years ago. They're currently in 6th. Freiburg are down in 8th at the moment. They're still pushing. But I believe there's been something going on the field there. Ed Dowling, what's been happening?
Yeah, I'm not massively sure. It seems like some form of protest. I'm not sure what for, but they appear to be throwing coins on the field, the Frankfurt fans, I believe. So we haven't actually had any gameplay here at all. It's just been stewards cleaning up the coins. So I'm not quite sure what that's about, but an unusual way to start the game, an unusual first 5 minutes here in Germany, but hopefully the football gets underway pretty soon. But it's 0-0 here in Frankfurt.
Yeah, we'd rather see raining goals than raining money at that match, Ed. I look forward to hearing your updates from that. Now, I mentioned about goals. Oof, what about Liverpool right now? They scored 4 yesterday against Brentford. They had Mohamed Salah return. There were injury concerns. They did have Diogo Jota go off. They had Curtis Jones go off. Núñez was brought off at halftime as a precaution, but they did have Mohamed Salah return from the African Cup of Nations. He has been struggling with an injury, but he returned with a goal and he looked in really, really good form. They were 4-1 winners at Brentford. Let's now hear from the Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp.
I'm not surprised about that. To be honest, Mo played the first game for weeks, months, I'm not sure. I think could have had a hat-trick. The first one, Lucho kicks the ball against his right foot or whatever, and then the other one, Mo usually finished it off, but the goal he scored was absolutely outstanding. But they'll play good, there are good players. We have just to make sure Cody's goal was absolutely outstanding as well, so it's really... that's all cool. But you can count as well the games coming up, so it would be helpful if we have a bit more than one for each position, and we have to see how we deal with that now. But it's all fine. We that's the situation. We cannot change that.
Jurgen Klopp there speaking after their 4-1 victory over Brentford, right at the top of the league in the English Premier League. And the game we're concentrating on in that division right now is at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Sheffield United are down to 10 men. Johnny Holmes, what's the latest?
Well, since bringing on Austin Trusty in defence, Sheffield United haven't shipped as many chances here to Brighton and Hove Albion, although it does feel like the game is slipping away from them already. Down to 10 men, as you mentioned, and Brighton having all of the ball. Last 10 minutes or so, no clear-cut chances for Brighton, but they very much have this game in the palm of their hand, in the driving seat. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, 38 minutes played.
Thank you, Johnny. That is in the English Premier League. In Italy, there's 2 games going on right now. One is between Empoli and Fiorentina, with Fiorentina leading 1-0. And Udinese are currently facing Cagliari. Ryan, what's been going on in the last few minutes? Ryan Benjamin.
Yeah, Udinese on top. I think they're the better of the 2 sides, despite them both being in kind of relegation trouble. Cagliari haven't had any chances. The manager, Claudio Ranieri, actually tried to hand in his resignation in the week, and the players stopped him. So they're certainly working hard for him, but they just don't seem to have the quality, really. Udinese are the better side. They've a goal up through Jordan Zamora, and they've also had a few really good half chances. And I'd be surprised if they don't run out winners here. But 36 minutes gone, it's Udinese 1, Cagliari 0.
Thank you, Ryan Benjamin. The game in the Bundesliga we're focusing on is between Freiburg and Frankfurt. Just a few minutes ago, the game was stopped. Do we have play underway, Ed Dowling?
No, we did for about a few minutes, and then it's quite a bizarre injury to Sasa Kalajic, the on loan Wolves striker. And he was running, and he just seemed to hold his knee and collapse. And we knew in his first few games at Wolves, he did his ACL there. So this is a really worrying injury, not only for him, but for Frankfurt as well. Their substitute is warming up, but it really doesn't look good for him. He hasn't really touched the ball, and he seems to have really injured himself here. So not a lot of play so far, to be honest with you, Rich, but 10 minutes in, it's 0-0. Hopefully there's some flow returning back to this game.
Thank you, Ed. My fingers are crossed for you that you'll have some good action coming up very shortly in the Bundesliga. Of course, the game later today is between Bochum and Bayern Munich, who are 8 points behind the leaders Leverkusen. We'll have coverage of that in just under 2 hours' time. So let's get some latest odds now from NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from now, but of course all these prices are subject to change. Let's start with the La Liga. It's still 1-0 between Rayo Vallecano and Real Madrid. 78 minutes gone. Rayo Vallecano for the win. They're 8.0. The draw has just gone down to 1.80. And away win for Real Madrid is 2.75. Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Ajax are leading by a goal to into the second half. Ajax are 1.30 for the win. The draw is 5.0 and away win is only 11.0. Sheffield United Brighton, 40 minutes gone. It's Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, as you just heard from Johnny Holmes. Sheffield United playing with 10 men, hence the price on them is 101.0. The draw is 23.0. However, if you're interested in goals in that game, well, if you think it's going to be over 4.5 goals, it's 2.15. And if you think it's going over 5.5 goals, it's 3.80. The other game that we'll concentrate on Udinese Cagliari, 5 minutes to go into half time. It's Udinese 1, Cagliari 0. Udinese are firm favourites for that now. They are 1.25 for the win. In fact, just gone down to 1.22. The draw has just gone down to 5.50. And away win for Cagliari is 15.0. The German Bundesliga, 12 minutes gone with few interruptions, of course, as you heard from Ed Dowling. Still 0-0 between Freiburg and Eintracht Frankfurt. Freiburg are 2.60 for the win. The draw is 3.25 and away win for Eintracht Frankfurt is 2.88. In fact, it's just gone up for Eintracht to 3.0. Just quickly, French League. Monaco are losing at home to Toulouse by a goal to nil. Monaco are 3.50 to turn it around, 3.25 for the draw, and Toulouse to maintain that lead, they are 2.20. Of course, all these prices are from NairaBet and is all subject to change.
Thank you, John Kane, with the latest from NairaBet. And I believe there's been a couple more chances in the game between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Johnny, what's been going on?
Yeah, there have been. And Sheffield United just cannot get a foothold in this game with their 10 men. Brighton with a couple of chances in the last couple of minutes. Adingra on the right-hand side shifts the ball away from his man and then blazed a shot over when he really should have done better. Quite a way into the box he fired over from. And then Danny Welbeck with a header. It was whipped into him, but he couldn't get over it. Just off the top of his head and over the bar as well. Brighton getting close to that third goal, but not doing so as yet. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2 after 42 minutes.
Thank you, Johnny Holmes. That game is, of course, still in the first half, but we do have a game that's in its second half. That's in the Eredivisie between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Cam Wilson, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Jadon Benawi looks like he's picked up an injury, the goal scorer. He's been playing really well, and as he runs down the left-hand side, he gets absolutely clean, taken out, and he was really holding on to his knee. Looked to be some considerable pain. He's been down for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it looks like Ajax are going to make a change. Still 1-0 Ajax, 56 minutes in.
Thank you, Cameron Wilson. Let me just give you a quick roundup of the scores. It's Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. We've got Freiburg 0, Frankfurt 0. Earlier today in Serie A, it was Lazio 1, Bologna 2. But I believe at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Brighton, we have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Brighton playing away at Sheffield United. They were facing a side with just 10 men. And there has now been a third goal in that match. Johnny Holmes, who's it gone to?
Well, against the run of play, can you believe this? Sheffield United with their first chance of the game. Bit of confusion. Osborne thinks he's just pulled a goal back, the number 23. It was a corner, and it all came from the hard work of James McAtee running through and chasing down Paul Van Hecker, who deflected the ball out for a corner. It's whipped in, and Osborne here, as it's pulled back, thinks he's just stabbed it home. But is he offside? There may be VAR on this, but as things stand, it looks as though it is going to be given, I believe. You might want to come back to me, Richard. As things stand, it's Sheffield United 1, Brighton 2, but there is VAR on this after 44 minutes.
I would say that the way Brighton have been defending this season, I think the phrase should now be, there's one thing you can always guarantee, death, taxes, and Brighton conceding a goal right now. So Johnny is across that game for us. It is currently Sheffield United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, but we've got a goal in Italy at the Stadio Friuli.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, our featured game is between Udinese and Cagliari. And Cagliari, who are 19th in the table, have managed to get an equalising goal in that game. Zamora got the earlier goal for Udinese to make it 1-1. We will get the latest there from Ryan Benjamin on that in just a moment. In fact, let's go to Ryan now. Ryan, what's happened?
Yeah, it's 1-1. Cagliari have got back into it. Gianluca Gaetano with his second goal in as many games. A lovely cross from the left by Aguero. And Gaetano rises and just plants the ball. A beautifully placed header, actually, under pressure into the bottom corner. Okoye had absolutely no chance. It's their second attempt on goal. They've had about 40% of the ball, and they've done a good job here on Udinese. They've soaked up the play. They've restricted Udinese to long efforts that they've blocked pretty well, but they've managed to get themselves back into the game close to half time now, about 45 minutes gone. It's Udinese 1, Cagliari 1.
Thank you, Ryan. Quite the turnaround there in the game between Udinese and Cagliari. The last time we checked in the Eredivisie, it was still Ajax 1, NEC Nijmegen 0. Cam Wilson, what's been going on?
I mentioned Benel was about to come off, and he did. He came off for Carlos Forbes, making his first ever appearance in professional football after joining from Man City. And what does he do? Straight away, he presses the defender, steals the ball from Sandler, goes through. All he's got to do, pick a corner, and he slips over and plays it straight at the keeper. He should have put this game out of sight. It should be 2-0 Ajax, but it's not. It's 1-0 in the Amsterdam Arena to the Dutch capital.
Thank you, Cameron Wilson. And it really has been a dramatic first half at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Brighton. We thought we'd had the third goal of the game, but I think it's all changed now. Johnny Holmes, what's going on?
Oh, it's hard not to feel sorry for Sheffield United, who are down to 10 men, hadn't had a chance. They finally get one and managed to put the ball into the back of the net. And Osborne thinks he's pulled a goal back. However, it has been disallowed. A lengthy VAR check, looking first at offside as the corner came in and it was knocked back down. Was Osborne in an offside position? And secondly, a deflected handball as it made its way to him. One of those things has led to the disallowing of the goal, and I do believe it's because of the offside. As it was nodded back down, Osborne was just in an offside position, even though it did come off a Brighton defender. When the knockdown occurs, he is offside. So, still Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. 7 minutes of added time here in the first half.
Fantastic. Thank you, Johnny Holmes. And we have a goal in the Eredivisie between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Ajax were leading in this game 1-0, but they have been pulled back against NEC Nijmegen. Hato with the own goal. So after just 62 minutes, it's 1-1 there. That is one of our featured games. We are following games in the English Premier League, in Serie A, in Eredivisie. There is so much going on here on Football Live at the moment. And we were just hearing a report there from Johnny Holmes between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. But of course, our featured match in the Premier League later today will be between Luton and Manchester United. But now we have seen that Ajax have been pulled back level, 1-1 against NEC Nijmegen. Let's find out exactly what happened with our reporter Cameron Wilson.
What a move it is from NEC. They've been deserving of a chance in this second half, and they do it brilliantly. It's Hansen, I keep mentioning him. He goes charging again down that left-hand side. This time pulls it back for Jerry, who takes it on his back foot so he can just spin round, and he plays a beautiful low cross just around the danger zone. And anyone and everyone could get a foot on it, and it's so unfortunate for Hato. He's trying to make sure Sano doesn't win it in the back post, and what does he do? He gets the first touch, but he flicks it into the bottom right corner. Brings NEC back level. It's 1-1, 63 minutes in.
Thank you so much. And we've got to the halfway mark, half time now in the Serie A in Italy between Udinese and Cagliari. Ryan Benjamin, what happened in that first half?
Yeah, Udinese 1, Cagliari 1. Udinese will be kicking themselves. They went a goal up after 14 minutes with a brilliant goal from Jordan Zamora, who cut inside on his right foot and smashed the ball past Simone Scrifei in the Cagliari goal. On the half-hour mark, top scorer Lorenzo Luca had a header from point-blank range which he put wide. That would go on to be crucial, as on 44 minutes, Gianluca Gaetano scored his header, planting it in the bottom right-hand corner and giving Cagliari a 1-1, well, another goal, and sending them in at the break, 1-1 at this crucial relegation game. It's 1-1 here.
Thank you very much there, Ryan Benjamin, with the latest between Udinese and Cagliari. Earlier today in Serie A, Bologna were 2-1 winners at Lazio, and the other game going on right now in Italy is between Empoli and Fiorentina. Fiorentina leading 1-0 with that game approaching half-time. Another game that's approaching half-time is our featured contest in the English Premier League between Sheffield United and Brighton. And I believe there's been another chance. Johnny Holmes.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of the chances in this game so far have come from set pieces and in particular corners. And it's no different here. Brighton win the corner, it's whipped in, and big centre-back Lewis Dunk is there to get his head on it. The captain rising highest and deflects it goalwards, and it is a good save, in fact, by Wesley Fodringham, palming the ball over the top of the bar. And it seems that injury that was affecting him earlier on, he has shaken it off now. He makes the save, and it's behind for another corner. Tariq Lamptey has just gone into the referee's book for Brighton, who lead 2-0 here, and 51 minutes played.
Thank you, Johnny Holmes. The last time we went over to Germany and in the Bundesliga, the game between Freiburg and Frankfurt, not really too much has happened. But what about now, Edward Dowling?
Yeah, we've got some flow returning back to the game here. Rich, just seen a pretty nasty foul on Omar Marmoush, who's played well so far. I think both teams just, after that faltering start, just trying to build some momentum up. To be honest, Freiburg would have the better of the chances, not to say there's been any real clear-cut chances. Frankfurt not really threatening at the moment. We're only about 23 minutes in, so I'm expecting this game to change and be a bit more open so far. It's been quite cagey, to be honest, but I'll let you know if anything happens, Rich. It's 0-0 so far, 23 minutes gone.
Thank you very much, Ed Dowling. The game in the Eredivisie between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen is now 1-1. Have Ajax made any changes in their approach, Cam Wilson?
Yeah, they're going to go for it now. They're going for two up front. They're ditching the 4-3-3. They've made the double change. Zahirovic has come off. He's been really poor at the moment, and Hato as well. They're going to really be relying on Van Boomen and Guy to really bring the team back into the game. And then for NEC, they've got a really unfortunate injury with Hansen. He's just currently sitting on the pitch, hoping he can come back on. 1-1, 66 minutes in.
Thank you so much there, Cam Wilson. Let's just get the latest in the game between Sheffield United and Brighton as that approaches half-time. Johnny Holmes.
Yeah, coming to the end of the first half here, Sheffield United actually, over the last couple of minutes, have had a little bit of possession, playing the ball from left to right, couple of chances for them to whip balls into the box, but Brighton defending well, not really under any sort of pressure. It's hard for Sheffield United to get men into the box, down to 10 men. They've brought off their young striker, Osula, of course, earlier on in the half. We are just fading through towards half-time here. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, 53 minutes played.
Thank you so much there, Johnny Holmes. We are covering so many games here on Football Live today. We're across the Premier League, we're across the Bundesliga, we're across Serie A, we're across the Eredivisie and La Liga. You've got to stay with us. But for now, let's hand back over to FJ and the team.
You are listening to Football Live, powered by NairaBet. Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
You are listening to Football Live, live and exclusive on Brila FM.
This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Welcome back to Football Live for our second hour as we keep across all of the biggest games across the world in the world of professional soccer football. We are across the Premier League, we're across the Bundesliga, we're across Serie A, we're across the Eredivisie and La Liga, and much, much more for you here on Brilla FM with Football Live. Thanks for the warm welcome from you, FJ. I thought you'd bowl me over a nice easy one for me to knock out the park. Instead, you asked me a really difficult question in the fact that Mason Holgate has been sent off for Sheffield United in the game against Brighton and Hove Albion today. And you asked me, when was the first time he was sent off for Everton? And I've got to say, that's really stumped me. I know he was sent off last season for Everton against Crystal Palace when they drew 0-0. So that's going to be my guess. That's the last time I recall him being sent off. Whether that's his first, I'm not quite so sure. We'll be able to confirm that later in the show. But thanks for the warm welcome, FJ, and for the pretty tricky question. But we are keeping across all of the matches today. And our featured contest in the Bundesliga is between Freiburg and Frankfurt. And when the game kicked off earlier, there was barely anything going on. But now there's been a whole host of goals.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Well, let's go straight to the Vonovia Ruhrstadion. Ed Dowling, what's been going on?
Yeah, just the 3 goals to report. So when you left me, it was 0-0. Very shortly after that, brilliantly clipped ball from Philipp Max found Omar Marmoush for Frankfurt, who finished so well into the bottom right corner to give his side the lead. But only 3 minutes later, a spill from Kevin Trapp from quite a tame shot led to Doan sneaking in at the back post for Freiburg to get the equaliser. But that score only lasted for 5 more minutes as Omar Marmoush picked the ball up again. He's had a really excellent game so far. But Alexander Nauf perfectly through for Frankfurt, who then made it 2-1. It's been really, really open. Loads of quality on the show. The game's really exploded into life since you last were with me. Let's hope for some more goals. But yeah, 39 minutes on the clock. It's 2-1 to Frankfurt.
3 goals there for you, Ed. And also in the Eredivisie, there's been a goal in the game between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
When we last spoke to Cam Wilson, this match was 1-1. There has been a third goal. Who's it gone to, Cam?
It's gone to Ajax, and out of nowhere it comes. An absolute giveaway from NEC, and Jordan Henderson, he retrieves it. Spots Bobby down the middle, and he plays it into him. And there is so much space on that left-hand side, and Forbes bursts into life and charges as fast as he can. And Robbie sees it and responds by playing him the through ball. And as Forbes just gets to it, he's running out of energy. He begins to stumble over as the composure is brave enough just to hit it. And it just chips over the former Ajax man Sillerson and goes into the bottom left corner. It's Ajax 2, NEC 1, 84 minutes in.
Thank you, Cam. So we've heard about the German Bundesliga. We've heard about the Eredivisie. You think we've forgotten about Serie A? Not today, Sonny. Not today. Ryan Benjamin is covering the game between Udinese and Cagliari. What's the latest there, Ryan?
Yeah, second half here in Cagliari, no doubt buoyed by that late leveller at the end of the first half. You can tell they're already getting more players forward, and it nearly paid dividends for them. Gianluca Lapandula, who's starting up front today, swivels in the 18-yard box and smashes a shot off the bar, which could have put Cagliari 2-1 up. A win for Cagliari today really drags Udinese right into the relegation mix. So it's a huge game, and Cagliari came so close to taking the lead. 51 minutes gone, Udinese 1, Cagliari 1.
Well, in the other game in Serie A, it's Empoli 0, Fiorentina 1. They're about 5 minutes into the second half. In that game earlier today, Bologna beat Lazio 2-1. We are, of course, got all eyes on the English Premier League today. Later, it's Luton Town against Manchester United. The last time these two sides met at Kenilworth Road in the English Premier League was all the way back in the top flight in 1992. So they're going to meet today later in the English Premier League. But the game we're keeping an eye on at the moment is between Sheffield United and Brighton at Bramall Lane. The game has just begun in the second half. Johnny Holmes is covering it for us. Johnny, have there been any substitutions?
Yeah, a couple of changes for Brighton, in fact. Tariq Lamptey picked up a yellow card right at the end of that first half. So maybe wise from Roberto De Zerbi to take him off and replace him with Jakub Moder. And Igor Julio is coming on for Adam Webster as well. Changes to both fullbacks for Brighton as they look to get some more goals on the score sheet. Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2 after 48 minutes.
Thank you so much, Johnny. As I mentioned, our later game in the Premier League is between Luton and Manchester United. We'll also have coverage later of the Bundesliga game between Bochum and Bayern Munich, a Bayern Munich side who are in really poor form at the moment. Over in Spain, it's not the result that the fans of Real Madrid wanted. They were held to a 1-1 draw against Rayo Vallecano. They did go down to 10 men, but Real are still top of the table. All right, I think it's time for us to find the latest odds with NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. We've just gotten to the second half of the English Premier League. It's Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. Sheffield United are playing with 10 men. Sheffield United 101.0 to turn it around. Well, we're going to ask Johnny Holmes about that if he thinks it's worth it. 23.0 for the draw, and it's suspended for Brighton. German Bundesliga, they're nearly half down there. It's Freiburg 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 2. Freiburg are only 5.50 for the win. The draw has just gone down to 3.60, and away win for Eintracht is 1.70. Italian Serie A, Udinese against Cagliari. It's 1-1 there, 55 minutes gone. Udinese are 2.30 for the win. The draw also 2.30, and away win for Cagliari is 5.50. Monaco, after 55 minutes, they are 1-1 now against Toulouse. Monaco are 1.91 for the win. The draw has just gone down to 2.60, and away win for Toulouse is 7.0. Ajax and AC Nijmegen, it's about 3 minutes plus stoppage time left. Ajax are leading by 2-1. Ajax has just gone down to 1.08, so more or less suspended. 9.0 for the draw. Is that worth it? Well, we'll ask our reporter there, and it's just gone down for NEC to 34.0. 5 minutes left also, plus stoppage time for Vitesse against Volendam. It's 1-1 there. Vitesse are 3.10 for the win. They've gone up to 3.40. The draw's gone down to 1.44 and 17.0 for the away win. Richard Parr was talking about Luton against Manchester United. The early odds for that: Luton at home are 4.20. The draw is 4.0, and away win for Manchester United is 1.75. We'll also keep an eye later on the German Bundesliga. Bochum against Bayern Munich. Bochum are 7.0 to win at home. The draw is 5.25, and away win for Bayern Munich is 1.40. The game that is going to start very, very shortly, which is between Granada and Almeria. Well, in fact, it's just kicked off in that game. So the odds on that, Granada are 2.30 for the win, the draw is 3.40, and away win for Almeria is 3.10. Of course, all these prices from Direct and is all subject to change.
Thank you, John Kane. John, of course, mentioned the Ligue 1 latest there. It's Monaco 1, Toulouse 1, Montpellier 2, Metz 0, and Rennes 2, Clermont 0. Those games are all midway through the second half. And one of the big talking points in Ligue 1 came yesterday as Nantes lost 2-0 at home to Paris Saint-Germain, a PSG side which started with Kylian Mbappe on the bench. You may recall this week it was reported that he had told the chairman of Paris Saint-Germain, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, his intention to leave at the end of the season. We don't know where he's going to go next. There's a lot of reports, a lot of rumours swirling that it will be Real Madrid, but the likes of Liverpool and even Arsenal have been named as potential clubs for one of the best strikers on the planet. He started on the bench and then he came on, won a penalty, which he took and scored himself. We will keep close to that story on Football Live on Barilla FM. One of the best players on the planet, Kylian Mbappe, and his future. Now, we are focusing on various games across Europe today, and I believe there's been a chance in the match between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Cam Wilson.
Yeah, and it's the former Ajax man, Lars Gone. He has a 30-yard free kick, and what does he do? He does what we saw against Real Madrid. He whips it with so much power, like he did in 2019. But he's so unfortunate because it hits the crossbar, and you'd have thought he'd have broken it. He hit it that hard. He had no chance. Ramos just falling back into his goal, praying that there will be some salvation for him. It was embarrassing from him, and it's so fortunate it hits the crossbar. It's still 2-1 Ajax. 19 minutes in, we've got 5 minutes left to go of added time.
Thank you, Cameron Wilson. Of course, there's now so many big and famous names playing in the Saudi League. So we do keep across that as well. And Al Hilal are now 3-0 up against Al Raid. Koulibaly, the former Chelsea defender, getting on the score sheet there. Mitrovic with the first 2 goals for Al Hilal. Our game in the Premier League is between Sheffield United and Brighton, and I believe there's been a chance. Johnny Holmes.
Yes, they have. We picked up pretty much from where we left off at the end of the first half here, with Brighton having all the ball, all the possession, and Sheffield United just hoping to sit in and counter-attack. But it's Brighton who've had the first meaningful chance of this second half. It fell for Simon Adingra, who shifted away. It's a little bit of build-up play from Brighton on the edge of the box. Adingra shifts away from his man, turns and fires a shot. Fairly tame effort that's easily collected by Wesley Fodringham in the Sheffield United goal. As things are, Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, 55 minutes played.
Thank you, Johnny Holmes. As I mentioned, in the Spanish league, Rayo Vallecano and Real Madrid finished 1-1. Dani Carvajal sent off in the 95th minute for Real Madrid. But we're focusing on the bottom half of the table, right at the bottom, in fact. The game between Granada and Almeria. That game has just kicked off in the last few minutes. Ethan Gardner, what's been going on?
Well, it's mostly been Granada so far holding on to possession. We have seen an early yellow card, but I'm going to cut this short because I believe you have a goal.
In fact, we do have a goal, and it's in Germany in the game between Freiburg and Frankfurt.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
After a slow start, it really has been raining goals in the game between Freiburg and Frankfurt. What's the score now, Ed Dowling?
It's 2-2. It's an equaliser for the home side. It's Vincenzo Grifo, the main man for Freiburg, equalising from the spot. If I have to be honest, Richard, I think it was a bit of a soft penalty. It was the forward run across, I think it was Doan, ran across the legs, basically, of Hasebe, who put his hands up in the air as he ran across him. Looked really, really soft, almost like the manufactured sort of contact we talk about in the Premier League. But the referee points to the spot, it didn't matter. And Grifo put his penalty away emphatically. No sort of run-up whatsoever. He just stood, took a swing at the ball and he rifled it into the top left. Great penalty, 2-2 here. We're into the 5th minute of added time in the first half, so we should be coming to an end shortly here. But it's been a really great first half, 2-2 here at the Stade Europa Park.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ed. It was a slow start, but it is duly delivered. As we deliver here on Football Live on Brilla FM, we are across all of the big games. In the English Premier League, we know that it's Brighton 2, Sheffield United 0 at Bramall Lane. Later, it'll be Luton versus Manchester United. In the Bundesliga, it's Freiburg 2, Frankfurt 2. That's approaching half-time. Later today, we'll also be keeping an eye on Bochum versus Bayern Munich, a Bayern Munich side who haven't been in great form lately. In Serie A, it's Lazio 1, Bologna 2. Empoli 1, Fiorentina 1. That's the latest there. That's approaching about the hour mark. Udinese 1, Cagliari 1, as we've been hearing from Ryan Benjamin. And in the Eredivisie, it's approaching full time in the game between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Cam Wilson, are Ajax going to hold on to this?
I'd imagine not. So far, they've been really poor. They're just giving the ball away constantly. They were out on a counter-attack. It was 5 against 3 in Ajax's favour, and they just play it straight, and it's blocked by an NEC defender. It bursts another counter-attack for NEC. But they have been really poor, and they end up just dribbling it off on the right-hand side. It's still 2-1 Ajax.
And in fact, I believe we now have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
I think I just tempted fate by asking Cam Wilson if Ajax were going to hold on, and it looks like they've been unable to do that. Ajax, they're 5th in the Eredivisie. They're hoping to get 3 points and really push for those European places. But they are facing a really good NEC Nijmegen side who were 7th at the start of the day, and I believe they have got an equaliser. And in fact, it is confirmed that it is going to VAR. They are looking to see if NEC Nijmegen have got that goal. We will get an update from Cam Wilson as soon as we get confirmation of that. But we are also keeping an eye on the game in La Liga between Granada and Almeria. And Ethan Gardner, I believe there's been an early chance.
There has indeed. A throw-in taken quickly down the left-hand side for Granada led to striker Mirto Uzuni being in one-on-one, or so he thought, but actually it was an incredible recovering challenge from the Almeria defender at left-back, and he's managed to put the ball out for a corner. Granada, though, enjoying a lot of the early possession, and they've worked the first real chance here after 8 minutes. It's Granada 0, Almeria 0.
VAR is still checking that chance in the game between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. We'll get back to that very shortly. But in the Bundesliga, it's now half-time between Freiburg and Frankfurt. Ed Dowling.
I'll be as brief as I can because a lot was going on here in Freiburg. We'll start off with a fantastic goal from Omar Marmoush, who finished so well after a nice ball from Philippe Max. Doan for the home side levelled things up only a few minutes later when he tapped in after Kevin Trapp spilled another chance. Omar Marmoush was in the headlines once again as he received a deep ball, passed it through to Canal, who finished perfectly into the bottom right corner. And lastly, just as we were winding up for what was a very exciting first half, the referee awarded a penalty to Freiburg, which Vincenzo Griffo finished with aplomb. It's 2-2 here. It's been a really good first half. Let's hope for more of the same in the second, Rich.
Glad you've been enjoying that, Ed. The game between Ajax and NEC, VAR is still checking that potential equaliser for NEC. But in the Spanish league, in the battle at the bottom, we have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's 19th versus 20th between Granada and Almeria. Who's the goal gone to? Ethan Gardner.
What a goal it is, and the goal has gone to Almeria, the second lowest scorers in La Liga, a team who haven't won a game yet, and they've taken the lead in this crucial away match. It's the right-back, Marc Pubil, who burst forwards. He's lashed a shot towards goal, and it's gone in off the underside of the bar. It's an absolute screamer from the Almeria man, and it's an important lead for them. Let's see if they can hold out for the rest of the game. After 10 minutes, it is Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much. And finally, VAR has made a decision on that potential goal for NEC Nijmegen away at Ajax. Cam Wilson, what has been decided?
It's been given as a goal. It's a brilliant run down the right-hand side. Sano just brilliant. Beats 1-2 defenders, whips the ball in. And Okagawa, who I thought was standing in an offside position, he's in front of his defender. He gets the little flick back, and it's a nice, easy little finish that puts NEC Breda level, coming from Rober, out of nowhere on the edge of the box. It's 2-2, 98 minutes in.
Yeah, it was a long wait and huge disappointment for the fans inside the Johan Cruyff Arena there for Ajax, with that game now at 2-2. The game we're following in the Premier League is between Sheffield United and Brighton. I believe there's been a chance. Johnny Holmes.
Yeah, a couple of chances, one for each side. First of all, the definition of Route 1 football for Chris Wilder's Sheffield United as Fodringham gathers up and spots his man, James McAtee, racing away through on goal. If he can just find the ball, and it's a brilliant kick out by Fodringham to find him. In on goal is James McAtee, but chasing back brilliantly is the substitute, Jakob Moder, who holds him up, and in the end, the chance is squandered. Brilliant defending by the number 15 for Brighton. And then a chance for Mitoma, who's driving through and takes a shot from a tight angle, which is saved by Wesley Fodringham. Still, Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2 after 61 minutes played here.
Thank you very much, Johnny. We'll be keeping an eye on that game as we're doing all of the leagues across Europe today. And in fact, there has been a goal in Spain.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It's a battle between the bottom two sides. The last time we spoke to Ethan Garner, Almeria were 1-0 up. Ethan, what's the latest now?
Well, potentially 2-0 here, but I'm not too sure what the decision is going to be. The assistant referee had actually flagged for offside. Whether or not they'll check this with VAR, I don't know. It was a set-piece routine from Almeria. The ball pinballed around the box a little bit and then ultimately came to their number 10, Arribas, I believe it is, who lashed a volley, Barber, who lashed a volley towards goal. It did go in low in the bottom right-hand corner past the goalkeeper, but they will review it because I believe he potentially could have been in an offside position. If they do get the goal, what a huge moment this will be. In the last meeting between these two sides this season ended 3-3. Could we be on our way towards that? Well, the VAR review here will let us know. After 13 minutes, it's Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Yeah, we'll see if that lead is going to be doubled very shortly. We'll keep an eye on that. But it's been a tumultuous end of the game for Ajax of Amsterdam. Cam Wilson, how's it finished there?
It's finished 2-2. NEC just hold on at the end there. They give away a free kick right on the edge of the box. And Jordan Henderson, I never knew him to be a free kick specialist. So he steps up and his attempt is so poor and it flies right over the bar. It was embarrassing from him. The NEC get what they deserve. They created the most chances. Ajax defended so poorly throughout the game. It could have been about 4-4 overall, but it finishes 2-2 to Ajax.
Thank you very much, Cam Wilson. I thought for a second when you said you haven't seen Jordan Henderson over a free kick before that he was going to unleash something fantastic, but by the sounds of it, quite the opposite there. Well, that draw for Ajax means they stay fifth in the table. They're on 36 points, 3 points behind AZ, and it's PSV who are way ahead of the rest at the top of the table. They're on 62 points. Feyenoord, who are second, are only on 49 points. They're 13 points behind after just 22 games played in the Eredivisie. All right, I think we will be back in a few moments, and you are listening to Football Live.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live.
Football Live is back on Brailer FM next Saturday afternoon. Join Dean Kilford from 3:45, an action-packed afternoon of 6 featured matches in the Premier League. Manchester United against Fulham and the champions Manchester City make the trip to Bournemouth. And there's Bundesliga action too. Bayern Munich against Leipzig. Join us next Saturday for another action-packed show. Football Live, exclusive on Brailer FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Bang it form into dreamland. Oh my God, they were crying. What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bet must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to Football Live on Brilla FM.
Let's get back to the big match action. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Just a few moments ago, we thought we had a second goal in our feature contest in the Spanish La Liga. It's the battle between the bottom two sides, Granada and Almeria. Has a goal been given, Ethan Gardiner?
No, the goal has in fact been ruled out. It goes back to when the free kick was taken, the original set piece, and it goes against centre-back Edgar Gonzalez, who got the head to the ball, the Almeria centre-back that ultimately came across to the goal scorer, Mbarba. And unfortunately for the away side, it has been ruled out. They only have a one-goal lead now, but they're not used to scoring, so perhaps they can try and hold on to this lead or get another one. They do look like the side in the ascendancy. After 17 minutes, it is Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much there, Ethan. The game in the Premier League is between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. It's approaching 70 minutes there. Johnny Holmes, what's been going on?
Couple of chances for the away side. Brighton, of course, it's 11 against 10 men here. Sheffield United had a man sent off, Mason Holgate, in the first half. Mitoma had a chance to hook the ball across. It's floated over to him, plays it across the box, but it is cleared behind for a corner. At this point, Brighton make a substitution. Goal scorer Buenanotte is brought off for the young striker Evan Ferguson, and he's straight into the action. The corner is whipped in. Ferguson's header is too close to the goalkeeper, and Fodringham catches the ball nice and easily. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2 after 69 minutes here.
Thank you so much, Johnny Holmes. Coming up later in the English Premier League is Luton and Manchester United. We'll have team news for that game very shortly, but we're also across everything that's going on in Serie A in Italy. Earlier today, Bologna beat Lazio 2-1. It's currently 1-1 between Empoli and Fiorentina, and we are covering closely the game between Udinese and Cagliari. Our man all across that is Ryan Benjamin. Ryan, what's the latest?
Yeah, two teams who are quite evenly matched here. I think Udinese had a couple of half chances with Luca and Thovan. They both had volleys from quite acute angles that went wide. They've made a couple of subs as well. Jordan Zamora, the goal scorer, has gone off, as well as Kingsley Abue, the Dutch right back, who will be playing for the Super Eagles going forward, so it's worth keeping an eye on him for our listeners. But both of these teams really need a win, I think, if they're going to try and pull away from the relegation zone. They're both fairly evenly matched, though, as I say. It's 1-1 here at the Stadio Friuli between Udinese and Cagliari.
Thank you so much, Ryan Benjamin there with the latest in Italy's Serie A. Well, let's get the latest scores now in the Nigerian PFL. It's Abia Warriors against Remo Stars. That's 0-0. Bayelsa United are 1-0 up against Gombe. It's goalless between Enugu and Aqua United. It's also goalless between Plateau and Lobi Stars. There is goals in the game between Rivers United and Doma United. That's 1-1. It's goalless between Sporting Lagos and Bendel. And Sunshine Stars are 1-0 up against Kawara. That's in the Nigerian PFL. But we are also keeping across all of the games across Europe. We've already heard today that Ajax drew 2-2 with NEC Nijmegen, unable to make a good charge on those European places, the Dutch powerhouses from Amsterdam. And we are keeping a really close eye on what's going on in the English Premier League between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Johnny Holmes, Sheffield United have got 10 men. Have they got any chance of getting back into this match?
Well, looking at the way the game has gone so far, the chances have been so few and far between for Sheffield United, just hopeful on the counter-attack. But to be honest, they haven't really shown anything. Brighton, all the possession, completely controlling this game, stroking it about from left to right. And Sheffield United's possession stats must be incredibly low. Let's have a look for you. I should have them in front of me here. Yeah, Sheffield United, in terms of ball possession, have only had 19% in this whole match. That just paints a picture, doesn't it? Tells you the whole story. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, 72 minutes played.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Our game in La Liga is between the bottom two sides, Granada and Almeria. Granada, they were leading 2-1 and then 3-2 at Barcelona last weekend, but they were ultimately made to accept a share of the spoils in a 3-3 draw. The last time we heard, though, they were losing to Almeria. Ethan Gardner, what's going on?
Well, Granada not really showing the same level of performance that they showed last week to get that 3-3 draw and lead twice. Almeria, the side definitely in the ascendancy. Granada trying to control possession. It's just not quite working out for them. Of course, we've seen a fantastic goal for Almeria and a goal ruled out, so they've definitely been the better side. But perhaps Granada can grow back into the game. They did pick up the first yellow of the game as well. Villar in central midfield, one of the changes going into today with a high tackle on Almeria captain Lucas Robertone. But not much has changed since the ruled out goal. Almeria still in the ascendancy after 20 minutes. It's Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you very much there, Ethan Gardner, with that battle between the bottom two sides. But of course, earlier today, Real Madrid were frustrated by only getting a 1-1 draw away at Rayo Vallecano. It's a very short trip. Both of those sides are in Madrid. Real Madrid, though, are top of the table. They are leading Girona by 6 points on 62 points. But in the Spanish league, it sounds like we've got another goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Well, I thought we had another goal, but maybe we don't. Ethan Gardner, what's going on?
Well, it's going to be checked, but personally, I think this will be ruled out for offside. Anthony Lozano up front for Almeria was just leaning in behind the last defender when the ball came through to him. So I personally believe he was offside before he then squared it on to the ultimate goal scorer, who was in Barbara again, I believe, who had a second of the day ruled out. How unfortunate that will be for him. But yes, after 23 minutes, I think this one's going to remain Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Of course, if that changes, we will bring you the latest here on Football Live on Brilla FM. But for now, let's get some latest odds with NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. Sheffield United against Brighton is suspended for Brighton as expected. They're leading away to Sheffield United by 2-0, and the home side playing with 10 men. If you fancy a big turnaround, they've got about 50 minutes to do it. In fact, I can tell you, there's been a goal at Brighton, isn't it, Rich?
Yes, I believe we have a goal in our game between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Sheffield United, of course, had a sending off in the first half. Mason Holgate in the 13th minute. Brighton had taken the lead in the first half due to goals from Facundo Buonanotte, the Argentina attacking player who's only 18 years of age. And then they got Danny Welbeck getting a second, but they have scored another goal. Johnny Holmes, what's been going on?
Well, there were question marks in the first half over whether Buonanotte's goal was going to go down as an own goal. No doubt about this one. It's absolutely an own goal, and it's Robinson. What a shame for the defender as Mitoma receives the ball out on the left-hand side. It's floated out towards him. Mitoma takes it down, and he crosses the ball in, floats it in, and unfortunately hooked into the back of the net. A sort of stabbing action, trying to get the ball away, clear it. Anywhere will do from Robinson. Anywhere but the back of his own net. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 3 after 76 minutes.
So it looks like it's going to be a good day for Roberto De Zerbi and co. De Zerbi, of course, has been linked with some of the big jobs going in football. The likes of Liverpool, the likes of Barcelona. Will Brighton and Hove Albion try to be able to keep him come the end of the season? All right, let's return back with John Kane with the latest odds from NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, apologise for that interruption. When there's a goal, we have to announce it. So that's the name of the game. Right, Sheffield United, Brighton, I'll come back to that one. Probably trying to give a few odds on the goals being scored. Freiburg against Eintracht Frankfurt. Second half just kicked off. It's 2-2 already in that game. Freiburg are 2.70 for the win. The draw, in fact, has just gone up to Freiburg to 2.75. The draw is 2.60, and away win for Eintracht is gone down to 3.40. Granada Almere leading away by a goal to nil. Granada are 5.0 to turn it around, 3.60 for the draw, and 1.75 for Almere away win. Udinese Cagliari 1-1 there with about 8 minutes plus stoppage time. Udinese are 4.33 for the win. The draw has just gone down to 1.44, and away win for Cagliari is 8.50. I can tell you, Monaco are losing at home by 2-1 to Toulouse with 8 minutes left plus stoppage time in that game. But if you fancy Monaco to turn it around, they are 15.0 and the draw is 3.75, and Toulouse away win is only 1.40. Right, I promise you we'll go back to the Sheffield United game. In fact, there's been another goal, isn't it, Rich?
Yes, indeed. We have another goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Well, last weekend, Brighton had a disappointing defeat against Tottenham Hotspur, but they have been raining goals in this game against Sheffield United. As I mentioned, Buonanotte had an earlier goal. Danny Welbeck scored as well. And then they had an own goal from Robinson. That made it 3, but they have got a 4th goal. Johnny Holmes, who has got it?
Wow, when it rains, it pours for Sheffield United, but it's a brilliant finish for Brighton's Adingra. Hooks the ball into the bottom corner as the cross comes in. And just as the Sheffield United fans started to stream out of Bramall Lane, they'd seen enough at 3-0. Well, it's 4-0 now. It's a brilliant finish by Adingra. Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 4, 78 minutes played.
Adingra, who of course was so influential in that AFCON final last weekend, and he got a hero's welcome back at the Amex this week, and he's delivered again on the pitch, this time with a goal for Brighton and Hove Albion. The last time we went to Spain in the game between Granada and Almeria, we thought we might have seen a second goal. What's been going on since we've last been with you, Ethan Gardner?
Well, Granada have come slightly back into the game. They've actually had a corner, and the shot leading to that was quite a dangerous one from central midfielder Martin Hongler. It was eventually deflected wide, and then, of course, as I mentioned, they had a corner which was a disappointing one in the end, headed straight into the hands of Almeria goalkeeper Maximiano. They are coming back into the game, though, and Almeria are going to have a task on their hands if they're to keep a second clean sheet in a row, of course, drawing 0-0 with Athletic Bilbao this time last week after 28 minutes. It's Granada 0, Almeria 1 still.
Thank you very much, Ethan Gardner. Coming up in about 45 minutes, we've got our featured match in the English Premier League between Luton Town and Manchester United. Of course, there was confirmation this week that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority sharing has been ratified, and there's been a lot of talk about United potentially appointing a new sporting director. Could it be Dan Ashworth of Newcastle? Could it be Jason Wilcox of Southampton? Those are some of the names that have been in the mix, but Man United are on the best run of results this season, and ahead of the game, let's hear from the Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag.
We have to make it our game, as usually doesn't matter who you face. If you play the best or the worst, it doesn't matter, or in between, it doesn't matter, and we respect every opponent. Definitely we are not in a position to underestimate any opponent, so we will not do. And we have to play our best, because we have seen their performances are across the season very good, and especially the last weeks they are really improving. So I have a lot of respect for this team, and we have to play our best football.
Erik ten Hag there, ahead of the game between Luton Town and Manchester United. Our reporter for this game is Jack Hesson, and Jack, I believe you have the latest team news.
I do indeed, yeah. We're about 45 minutes away from kick-off here. It's a first league visit here for Manchester United since 1992. Luton are faring fairly well in the relegation dogfight this season. They're 17th. A win would take them 4 points clear of 18th place Everton. They make no changes from the 3-1 defeat away to Sheffield United. Former Elijah Adebayo leading the line, and former Chelsea man Ross Barkley also starts. So Manchester United, it was a big one away from home over Aston Villa last time out. They make no changes from that 2-1 victory, and a full line-up for United then. Onana starts and goals, a back line of Shaw, Maguire, Varane and Dalot, midfield 2, Casemiro and Kobe Mainoo, an attacking midfield 3, Marcus Rashford on the left, Garnacho on the right, Bruno Fernandes playing in just behind Rasmus Højlund. A win for Manchester United will keep them 6th, but they reduce the gap between them and Tottenham to 3 points. Should be a good one, about 45 minutes time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Jack. I think that'll be a really interesting game. Of course, Luton had a fantastic performance against Brighton and Hove Albion only a couple of weeks ago, hammering them 4-0. So when they want to be on it, they really can be on it. So Manchester United will have to be wary despite their recent good run of form. Speaking about Luton Town and their battle at the bottom, Sheffield United's battle at the bottom is going really bad against Brighton and Hove Albion. We've got about 8 minutes of normal time remaining. Could there be more goals here, Johnny Holmes?
You'd have to think that if there were to be more goals, they would fall to the away side, Brighton, the 11 men against the 10 men of Sheffield United, who have made a stream of changes here at Bramall Lane. Oliver Norwood comes on for Osborne, Tom Davis on for Harmer, and Rhian Brewster gets a run out in place of McAtee. And for Brighton, Ansu Fati replaces Mitoma, who has been instrumental on the left-hand side for the away side, and Purvis Estupinian gets a run out in place of goalscorer Danny Welbeck. I feel like it's just a case of giving certain players a few minutes now. The result is pretty much set in stone. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 4 after 82 minutes.
Yes, a very disappointing day for the fans of Sheffield United. Now, in our Bundesliga game between Freiburg and Frankfurt, there was a stoppage right at the beginning of it. Then we've seen lots of goals, but I believe there's been a bit of an incident now, Ed Dowling.
I don't really know what's going on here. I've just seen a shot of the Freiburg goalkeeper holding up a little toy plane that's been flying above the players' heads. The referee has spotted it and stopped the game entirely, and then I believe the Frankfurt fans have thrown a lot of stuff onto the pitch. It's all a bit weird, to be honest. I don't really understand what's going on, but the plane has now crashed and it's been removed from the field. So I guess we're going to start pretty soon. This game really has had absolutely everything, Rich, to be honest. Still 2-2 here. Who knows what's going to happen next?
All right, thank you, Ed. We'll keep an eye on that. In La Liga earlier today, it was Rayo Vallecano 1, Real Madrid 1, but we're keeping an eye on the game at the bottom between Granada and Almeria. At the moment, Almeria lead 1-0, but I believe Granada have made a bit of an early change here. Ethan Gardner.
Yeah, they've made a change, and I think it's going to lead to a change in shape, or at least approach, because it is a central midfielder, Villar, who came into the side. He's been substituted off after picking up an early yellow and not really impressing at all. And his replacement is one of the men who played last week and dropped out. Left-back Fitu Mawasa has come into the side. I'm not really sure how that's going to rejig formations for you yet. I can update you on that next time, but hopefully for Granada, it'll bring a little more life into their attack, because they have been a little bit cold when it comes to attacking. After 33 minutes, it's Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much, Ethan. So in the English Premier League, we are about 40 minutes away from kickoff between Luton Town and Manchester United. Jack Hesson is covering this game for us. Jack, Manchester United in the last few weeks have been really impressive, but it overall hasn't been a great season. Do you think they've really turned the corner right now?
It's looking likely, or like it at the moment. I mean, you look at those results, the one against Aston Villa, that excellent 2-1 win, thumping of West Ham, who have had their issues this season, but they have been high up the table. It does feel like it's going in the right direction for Ten Hag again. It's going in a direction that they want it to go. But as you said, they're struggling. They're 6th place, 6 points behind Tottenham in 5th. At the moment, they wanted to probably be in the top 4. Realistically, at the start of the season, they would have probably wanted to be right in amongst the top 4. That hasn't been the case for them this season. They have regressed from last season. And really, all they can do now is just pick up wins to try and get themselves as far up the table as possible now.
Thanks, Jack. I want to talk in a moment about the importance of Rasmus Højlund, but I believe there's another goal in our early Premier League game between Sheffield United and Brighton.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It certainly is raining goals at Bramall Lane. Johnny Holmes, who scored it this time?
Oh, well, Brighton have got a fifth, and it came from an opportunity, a rare chance for Sheffield United. Ahmed Odzic had made a run forward and headed wide of the goal. He should have done better. He should have pulled one back, and then forward go Brighton. Estupiñán does really well. He gets it out wide to Adingra, who's already got one today, and boy does he do brilliantly here. Fires a shot from the right-hand side. It deflects and loops up. It's unfortunate, over the top of Fodringham on the deflection, and there just to knock it in. Did Evan Ferguson get a touch? Is it going to go down at Adingra's? I think Adingra will get the goal. He deserves it, does brilliantly. The deflection, though, very much made sure of it. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 5, 86 minutes played.
Johnny, we saw last week when Arsenal were thrashing West Ham that some of the Hammers fans were leaving at half-time. Are there any Sheffield United fans left in the ground?
Not many at all. At 3-0, we saw a stream of Sheffield United fans get up and start heading for the exits. I can't imagine those that stuck it out a bit longer are going to want to do so here after a fifth goal for Brighton and Hove Albion. And yes, just looking at the empty seats around Bramall Lane is a sight to behold and just sums up the occasion. Not a good occasion for Sheffield United fans. It's their side who are 5-0 down after 87 minutes.
Thank you very much, Johnny Holmes. You expect that there'll be a fantastic atmosphere at Kenilworth Road this afternoon for the game between Luton and Manchester United. Manchester United, of course, have been on really good form, and most of that has been down to the recent performances of their young striker Rasmus Højlund. Jack, what do you think has been the change in his play in recent weeks, and do you expect it to continue in this game against Luton?
I think it's just been patience with him. It's been giving him the time and the space. He signed for a lot of money, and he's a young age. He was 20 years old when he signed. He's 21 now, and that's a lot of pressure on a player like that. People immediately wanted him to come in, and comparisons towards players like Erling Haaland were coming in, which it's a ridiculous amount of pressure to put on a player like that. And I think he's just needed the time and the space really to get in. He's still, I think, trying to get there. He's only got 5 goals this season for a striker at Manchester United, not good enough. I think that's more of a damning indictment on Manchester United as a whole this season. They've got a 0 goal difference. They've only scored 33 goals. That's the exact same amount of goals as Luton have scored this season. They're sitting in 17th. So I think they just need to try and get the ball to him more. They need him to be a focal point in the team. And the more you do that, then I think the more that the goals will come.
Yeah, he's certainly been in great form in the last few weeks. We are keeping an eye on the game which is approaching full time in the English Premier League between Sheffield United and Brighton. Brighton currently leading 5-0, but for over 5.5 goals, it's currently 3.10 on NairaBet. Of course, that is subject to change. In fact, it's now 3.60. So that is, of course, subject to change on NairaBet, the latest odds. We are keeping an eye on that game. We're also keeping an eye on the game at the bottom of La Liga between Granada and Almeria. Ethan Gardiner, what's been going on?
Well, Granada's starting to come back into things after that change that I mentioned. They won a free kick down the left-hand side, which was whipped into the box, but a disappointing volley fell into the hands of Maximiano in the Almeria goal. Hopefully for Granada, things will start to pick up, but there's not long to go until half-time. At 39 minutes gone, it is Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you very much. We are approaching full-time in the game between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. That is currently 5-0. Our game between Freiburg and Frankfurt at the moment is 2-2. We're also keeping an eye on Udinese. It's Udinese 1, Cagliari 1 in Serie A. And earlier today in the Eredivisie, it was Ajax 2, NEC Nijmegen 2. And in Spain, it's Rayo Vallecano 1, Real Madrid 1. And as you just heard from Ethan, it's Granada 0, Almeria 1. We will have updates from all of those games, plus our feature contest between Luton Town and Manchester United and Bochum Bayern Munich in the German Bundesliga. But for now, I'm going to hand you back to FJ and the team.
You are listening to Football Live, powered by NairaBet. Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Sports Radio 88.9 Brila FM.
You are listening to Football Live, live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Hello and welcome back to Football Live on Brilla FM. We've had a wonderful afternoon so far. We've been focusing on the English Premier League game between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion, and it's been a bad day for the home side at Bramall Lane. Brighton running out 5-0 winners. Coming up, we're also going to be giving you comprehensive coverage of the game between Luton Town and Manchester United. We'll be getting all of the latest there. And in the Bundesliga, we'll be focusing on Bochum versus an out-of-form Bayern Munich. Can Harry Kane get his shooting boots back on? We will see. But there has been an earlier game between Freiburg and Frankfurt. And in fact, there's been a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
So the last time we spoke to Ed Dowling, this game was finally poised at 2-2. So who's this fifth goal gone to, Ed?
On to the away side. It's gone to Eintracht Frankfurt, and it's some great work again from Omar Marmoush. He's been by far the best player in this game so far. He picks it up on the left side. He squares the ball across the box. And on the edge of the penalty area is Asgar Knauf, who's already got a goal in this game. Remember, he came on actually in the 11th minute for Sasa Kalajdzic, and he rockets the ball into the top right. Excellent finish. And we very well could not have seen him play today, Knauf, but he's got 2 goals. So Frankfurt are 3 goals to 2 up here at the Freiburg Stadium, and they look good value for the lead, to be honest. But 10 or so minutes left of regular time, and it's 3-2 to Frankfurt.
Thank you very much, Ed Dowling, with the latest there. We'll get the team news in a moment for the game between Bochum and Bayern. But first, there's been a change to the lineup in the game between Luton and Manchester United. Jack Hesson, what's happened?
Yeah, well, I previously told you that Elijah Adebayo would be leading the line for Luton this afternoon, but he has pulled up in the warm-up for this game, and he is now out of the team lineup altogether. It will be Collie Woodrow who leads the line for them, 29 years old. Hasn't scored a goal this season, just 2 goals in the Championship last season, so a big afternoon for him. Dan Potts also makes his way on the bench, so problems for Luton before the game's even started, and a big game for Collie Woodrow to lead the line against Manchester United.
Certainly disappointing there for Luton Town fans. Jack, while I've got you here, Marcus Rashford is back in the starting lineup for Manchester United. He's been linked with a potential move to PSG as a replacement for Kylian Mbappe. How important is he to this Manchester United side right now?
I think his importance, he showed it last season more so when he was on a great bit of form. This season he did fall away initially, but a bit like Rasmus Højlund, he's came into it. As Manchester United's form has got better, he's gotten better, and I think you could easily draw a line between him and his performances improving and Manchester United's form improving, which I think does highlight his importance for Manchester United. I don't think it's a player they'll want to lose, but it would be a great signing for PSG if that was to go over the line for them.
Yeah, we will see what happens there. Of course, speaking about very, very good English strikers, you can always talk about Harry Kane. He is Bayern Munich's shining star, but he hasn't scored in a while. Bayern Munich are away to Bochum, looking to cut down that 8-point lead that Leverkusen have at the top of the Bundesliga. Let's get the latest team news now with Kane Wears.
Afternoon, Rich, and as you say, a massive important game in the Bundesliga today. In 15th place, Bochum sit 6 points ahead of Cologne in the Bundesliga relegation playoffs and have the chance today to actually move up to 11th with a win. Both are winless in their last 3, but they do make 2 changes from the draw in Frankfurt, with Masovic and Antwi Adeje coming into the side for Osterhag, and Barrow, who drops out with suspension. You look at Bayern Munich and they make just 1 change to the side from last week's defeat to Bayer Leverkusen, which is Upamecano coming out of the side, and it is Matthias de Ligt who comes back from injury. Massive opportunity for Bayern Munich today to try and close the gap on Bayer Leverkusen today, but they need goals, and recently we've heard obviously the manager talking about how he needs to get Harry Kane more involved in a game today against Bochum is where they would normally expect to score goals. In their last 3 games, two of the scorelines have been 7-0. So if you're looking at, for example, goals, Harry Kane to score 2 or more goals is 3.10 with NairaBet subject to change, or 8.50 to score the hat-trick. So hopefully goals galore in this game. Just under 10 minutes till kick-off.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Kane Wears is going to be all across that match for us. Earlier today in Serie A, it was Lazio 1, Bologna 2. We've had 2 games recently finish. One was between Empoli and Fiorentina. That finished 1-1, in fact. And Ryan Benjamin was all across the game between Udinese and Cagliari. How's it finished at full time there, Ryan?
Yeah, this big relegation 6-pointer ended Udinese 1, Cagliari 1. A brilliant goal from Jordan Zamora on 14 minutes was then cancelled out by Gianluca Gaetano's header in the 44th minute. 2 teams evenly matched. Udinese 3 points away from the relegation zone, whereas Cagliari remain 19th, 1 point away from safety. Claudio Ranieri's men getting a much needed point in this big game at the bottom of Serie A. At full time, Udinese 1, Cagliari 1.
Thank you so much there, Ryan. Coming up in Serie A, there's also Frosinone taking on Roma, and Monza play AC Milan. We are also across all of the games that are going on in the Spanish La Liga today. It's Rayo Vallecano 1, Real Madrid 1. That's a full-time result from earlier today. Dani Carvajal sent off late on for Real Madrid, who did take the lead through the former Stoke and Newcastle forward Joselu. But we are keeping an eye on a relegation 6-pointer between Granada and Almeria. And I believe the second half has just kicked off. Ethan Gardiner.
Yes, we are back underway in the second half here. And whatever's been said to Granada during half-time seems to really have energised them. They've come out the better side in the first 5 minutes. More possession, more chances. As you've come to me, they've just put one wide from a free kick. Quite a dangerous header into the side netting. They did also make a substitution, and it's a boost for them. Lucas Boye has come on. He wasn't due to return from injury until next week, but he is one of their better players. He's come on the left side for Oscar Melendo. It is a real opportunity for Granada in the second half to pull themselves back towards safety, but they are still down to the only team below them in La Liga. After 50 minutes, it remains Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much, Ethan Gardiner. We are getting close to kickoff in the game in the English Premier League between Luton Town and Manchester United. But we've already had one game reach full-time in that division, and that was between Sheffield United and Brighton and Hove Albion. Let's now get a full-time report from Johnny Holmes.
It can only be described as a sobering day for Sheffield United fans. Off the back of a brilliant victory in the relegation clash with Luton, they capitulate to a 5-0 home loss against Brighton and Hove Albion. They didn't make it easy for themselves. Mason Holgate sent off in the first half. Brighton goals for Buenanotte, Welbeck, an own goal from Robinson, and 2 fantastic finishes by starman Adingra on the 78th and the 85th minute. 5 goals for Brighton. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 5, full-time at Bramall Lane.
That was certainly an incident-packed match. We'll hope for the same in the upcoming game between Luton and Manchester United. And I think it's a good time now to get the latest odds with NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change, and we're going to start with the games that are actually going on at this moment in time. Freiburg against Eintracht Frankfurt, about 4 minutes plus stoppage time in that game. Plenty of goals so far, but Freiburg are losing at home by 3-2. However, fancy Freiburg to turn it around in the next few minutes. We'll also get down about that. It's 26.0. The draw, however, is 5.0, and away win for Eintracht Frankfurt is still open on 1.22. The La Liga, Granada losing at home again to Almeria by a 1-0. Granada are 6.0, in fact gone down to 6.0. The draw is 3.50, and away win is 1.67. I'm going to try to get the odds on the games that are going to be kicking off any minute now. The Premier League, Luton against Manchester United. Luton at this moment in time, they are 4.0. The draw is 4.0 as well, and away win for Manchester United is 1.80. I'm trying to find the Bayern Munich one. I believe it's just kicked off. So if you go back to my live odds at the moment, and yes, it just kicked off at Bochum against Bayern Munich. Bochum are 7.0 for the win. The draw is 5.50, and away win for Bayern Munich is 1.36. Kane Wears did mention couple of odds for you, and that relates to Harry Kane. Now, if you think Harry Kane will score any time in that game, he is only 1.50, so he's very, very much favourite. I believe we've got an early goal at Kenilworth Road, Rich.
Fantastic. Yes, it's the game we've got our eyes very close on between Luton and Manchester United. It's only just kicked off, but we have a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, Manchester United are away at Luton Town. They've been on fantastic form in the last few weeks. They've won their last 3 Premier League games, have Eric Ten Hag's side. They've also had the new investment by Sir Jim Radcliffe ratified in the last week, in the last few days. And it's actually the best run that Eric Ten Hag's team have had of this season, and they are leading against Luton. In fact, it's a first league meeting at Kenilworth Road between these two sides since 1992. It was 1-1 there, with the goal scorers being Lee Sharp. Do you remember Lee Sharp and Mick Harford? So it's been a long time coming, but we will get confirmation of that goal from our reporter Jack Hessen in just a few moments' time. But it does look like Rasmus Højlund's great form has been continuing for Manchester United. We will get confirmation of that, but the goals keep on coming. They keep on coming. We'll speak about one in the Bundesliga in just a moment, but let's go to Jack. Jack, explain what has happened at Kenilworth Road between Luton and Manchester United.
Oh, it was a massive blunder on the Luton back line. What it was, Luton bringing players forward. Casemiro lumped the ball up the park. It looked safe for Amari Bell to just try and play it back to Kaminski, and he botches the clearance straight to Rasmus Højlund, who was then bearing down on goal 1-on-1, and he dispatched his finish excellently to give himself another goal for the season. But a big blunder from Luton early days, not what they've wanted. It's not been a great start before the game. It's not been a great start now the game started for them, and they're struggling here. It's 2 minutes played. It's still Luton 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you, Jack. As I just mentioned, there has also been a goal in our game in the Bundesliga.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
The last time we spoke to Ed Dowling, Frankfurt were leading 3-2 against Freiburg. But Ed, what has now happened?
It's an equaliser for the home side, and they do go crazy here in Freiburg. It's Michael Gregoritsch, and amidst all the really high quality goals we've had here in Germany today, this one is a bit of a touch of the Sunday leagues, you could say. It's a corner for Freiburg. It gets headed out, and then a looping header back into the box from one of the defenders for Freiburg. And there's Gregoritsch, and he kind of heads the ball onto Hasebi, and then it rebounds off him and goes beyond track. An element of fortune, you could say, but Freiburg have been pushing this second half, so it's not like they don't deserve it. I've just been told there's 10 minutes of added time here. We're into the 90th minute now. It's 3-3 here. It's been an absolute classic so far, Rich.
That's fantastic. We said at the beginning of the game that I hope that you would have a good game, and it's certainly delivered for you there, Ed. There's lots going on around Europe at the moment. We're keeping an eye on the game at the bottom of the table in La Liga between Granada and Almeria. The last time we spoke to Ethan Gardner, Almeria were leading 1-0. What's going on now, Ethan?
Well, it should definitely be 1-1 Granada with an exciting attack down the left-hand side. The ball was played low across the box, a bobbling ball. It was difficult to deal with, and Almeria definitely made a meal of it. But left-back Bruno Langa just managed to stop Manchester United loanee Facundo Pellistri of Granada from tucking the ball away from only about 2 or 3 yards out. It's actually gone wide somehow, and Granada, with the heads in their hands, the fans disappointed because at home, after 57 minutes in this crucial relegation tie, they remain a goal down. It's Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Yeah, there's 10 minutes of stoppage time being played there. But as I already mentioned, there has been an early goal in the game between Luton and Manchester United. But Jack, is there more action going on? Jack Hessen.
Yeah, there's chances coming for Manchester United. First one, corner. Luke Shaw almost found Casemiro in the box from about 2 yards, but he couldn't get his footing right. And then just as he come to me there, Marcus Rashford just had a shot from the edge of the area. Looked really inviting to the bottom left-hand corner, but a good save from Kaminsky. So Man United turning on the style in the early stages here. 4 minutes in, still looking nil. Man United 1.
Well, our other game that has kicked off in the last few moments was the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Let's go out to Kane Wears. What's been going on in the first few minutes there?
Yeah, opening first 4 minutes of the game, and actually Bochum should be 1-0 up, and the ball goes out wide to Bernardo, who's actually playing as the left wing back today, and he just whips a ball into Antwi Adeji right at the back stick, and he just gets up and just fires the ball in close range. But actually, it just goes wide, it does, and doesn't trouble Neuer that much. But massive opportunity for Bochum in the earlier stages. But still, Bochum 0, Bayern Munich 0.
Thank you so much there, Kane. We'll keep a close eye on that game, of course. Bayern Munich trying to close down on the lead that Bayer Leverkusen have at the top of the table. Over in Spain earlier today, it was Rayo Vallecano 1, Real Madrid 1, and we've been hearing the latest of the game at the battle of the bottom between Granada and Almeria. But there seems to have been another goal in the English Premier League.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
I wondered earlier if we would get as many goals as we got in our earlier match in the English Premier League between Sheffield United and Brighton, which finished 5-0. But we're only 7 minutes into this game between Luton and Manchester United, and it's now Luton 0, Manchester United 2, and it's the man of the moment. We spoke about him before the game, and it's Rasmus Højlund getting the second goal of the game, his second. He's been in fantastic form in 2024. Just an incredible performance from the young striker who signed in the summer. And we will get the latest on that goal from Jack Hesson in just a matter of moments. An absolutely fantastic start for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. They've won their last 3 Premier League games. And let's find out exactly what's happened with Jack Hesson. Jack.
Oh, brilliant bit of improvisation there from Rasmus Højlund. It was a corner, whipped in, cleared away as far as Garnacho. Garnacho tries to hit it on the volley, he slices it, it's going well wide, but Rasmus Højlund's in the way. It hits off his chest, and he manages to guide it with his chest into the bottom right-hand corner. An excellent goal, with 7 for the season now. Man United turning on the style here. 7 minutes in, is now Luton 0, Man United 2.
Jack, what is this? Is this Manchester United playing really, really well, or is this Luton not doing very well? And could we see a cricket score here?
I think Luton just kind of need to get their act together. You know, they've really looked distant. They've looked, that mistake for the initial first goal, the second one a bit unlucky for them, but they haven't had any kind of grip on the game. They tried to start on the front foot. They tried to have a go at Manchester United straight from kick-off, but United are dominating this game, and they're completely in control of this at the moment.
Fantastic. We will see what happens in that game. Thank you so much, Jack. In the German Bundesliga, we're in stoppage time in the game between Freiburg and Frankfurt. The last time we spoke to Ed Dowling, it was 3-3 there. Ed, is it going to change anytime soon?
It could have changed a few minutes ago. Frankfurt were inches away from taking the lead once again in this game, but again, it was Omar Marmoush. There's a bit of a mix-up in the box, to be honest. The ball came over, it was headed into one of the defenders, and then there's a bit of a scramble on the line to get it away, which they did get it away. But it looks like Frankfurt are the ones that are pushing for a last-minute goal here. We've been playing for 95 minutes, so there'll be 5 more minutes left. I could see a late winner here, Rich, but it's currently 3-3 here.
What a thrilling end to the game there. And we're midway through the second half of our game between Granada and Almeria in La Liga. Last time we spoke to Ethan, it was Almeria leading 1-0, and it seems like they came close to a second here, Ethan.
They did indeed. Almeria now relying on counter-attacks to get at Granada, but this was a particularly dangerous one down the right-hand side. The cross comes in to striker Anthony Lozano. Now, it's a little bit behind him. He stretches awkwardly, and as a result, he can't quite get the control he wants on the header. It goes over the bar, but both sides working chances now. Granada coming back into the game. Almeria hitting on the counter. This is looking to be quite an exciting second half after 63 minutes. It's Granada 0, Almeria 1.
Almeria, of course, looking for their first win in La Liga this season. Let's give you the latest scores in the Nigerian top division. It's Abia Warriors 0, Remo Stars 0. It's by Yelsa United 1, Gombe 0, Enugu 1, Aqua United 0. It's Plateau 2, Lobby Stars 1. Rivers United are 3-1 up against Doma United. Sporting Lagos and Bendel is still goalless. And Sunshine Stars are drawing 1-1 with Quora. Most of those games are around the 75-minute mark at the moment, or with about 10 to 20 minutes left of those games. So our main game is in the English Premier League right now, and it's between Luton Town and Manchester United. Manchester United have made a fantastic start. They're leading 2-0, and I hear, Jack, it could be 3.
Yeah, another decent chance there for Manchester United. Collie Woodrow for Luton had the ball. Harry Maguire managed to intercept it, and it launched a quick counter-attack. The loose ball fell to Rashford at the halfway line, and he done a fantastic run from the left-hand side of the halfway line all the way towards the outside of the penalty area. He took the shot but scuffed it, and it went wide to the left-hand side. But another dangerous chance there for Manchester United. They're knocking at the door for a third here. 10 minutes in. Luton 0, Man United 2.
Yes, it's a fantastic start to that game. We've only had 2 games in the English Premier League today, and yet we've seen 7 goals already. Because earlier today it was Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 5. And right now it's Luton 0, Manchester United 2. We're reaching the end of our featured game in the German Bundesliga, our early game between Freiburg and Frankfurt. Ed Dowling, is it going to finish a draw?
It's a good job you just come to me there. Rich, we've just seen the ball cleared off the Frankfurt line this time. Inches away from... It's probably closer than the last time the ball was cleared off the line. And it's Kevin Trapp scrambling to get back, and they're going to goal line technology. It is not going to count. But that's how close it's come. Both of these teams have attacked so well today. Not defended particularly well, if I'm honest. But it's made for a really great spectacle. I'd imagine we've got one more chance left to go here on the 99th minute. I'll come back to me if there is a chance or if there is a goal. But I can't see it happening. It's so late on. It's just flaring up now between a few players. It might be boiling over here slightly, but we've got 1 minute left to play of the 10. It's 3-3 here in Germany.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ed. The game between Granada and Almeria is on the 66th minute. It's still Granada 0, Almeria 1, but I believe both sides have made changes. Ethan Gardiner.
Yes, indeed. Well, Granada looking maybe to go a little bit more offensive. They've taken off defensive midfielder Hongler and brought on Gombau, who started in the 3-3 draw away at the Nou Camp last week, so hopefully he can bring some attacking presence. Meanwhile, for Almeria, well, they're looking to shore things up. One of their best players of the game, Jonathan Vieira, who's been playing in attacking midfield, has come off. Malero replaces him, and Pozo comes on the wing for Arribas as they look to hold on to this lead and potentially a second clean sheet in 2 weeks. And of course, as you said, a first win of the season. How valuable that would be. After 66 minutes, it remains Granada 0, Almeria 1.
That would be absolutely massive for Almeria if they can hold on to that lead. Well, Luton Town are 2 goals down against Manchester United, but I believe they've had a chance. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, it's the first real sniff at goal that they've had so far. The ball in the middle of the park with Sambi Lakonga. He found the run of Ogbeni towards the box. He played a beautiful chip pass that broke the Manchester United back line, but he couldn't get his footing right. He would have had a one-on-one opportunity if he did, and it fell back to Andre Onana. So a great chance there, and it's 2-0 Manchester United, 30 minutes played.
And in fact, while we've been with you, there has now been a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Manchester United have had a fantastic start to this game against Luton Town. They've taken an early 2-0 lead through Rasmus Højlund, but it is Luton who has got a goal back, and it's through Morris. Morris has now made it 2-1. It's a great comeback at the moment for Luton Town. We're barely a quarter of an hour in the game, and we've already seen 3 goals. It's incredible stuff. We'll get the latest from Jack Hesson on that in just a moment. But I also want to say that there's been a goal in Germany in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, Bayern Munich, who've been on a really poor run of form recently, facing an underperforming Bochum side. And Bayern have had a good experience facing Bochum in the past. Their last game, they actually won 7-0. And this time it's Musiala with the goal for Bayern. Bayern now lead 1-0. But let's head over to Kenilworth Road and hear from Jack Hesson on Luton Town's goal back in that game.
Yeah, they're right back in this game. Ball came from the left-hand side into Tatif Chong. His shot deflected off of Harry Maguire. It was a looping deflection all the way towards Carlton Morris from 6 yards. He heads it in. Onana comes out to try and make himself look big, but Morris manages to find the header into the back of the net. It's game on at Kenilworth Road. Luton 1, Manchester United 2. 15 minutes played.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live.
Football Live is back on Brilla FM next Saturday afternoon. Join Dean Kilford from 3:45, an action-packed afternoon of 6 featured matches in the Premier League. Manchester United against Fulham and the champions Manchester City make the trip to Bournemouth. And there's Bundesliga action too. Bayern Munich against Leipzig. Join us next Saturday for another action-packed show. Football Live, exclusive on Brilla FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form
Into dreamland. Oh my God, they were crying. What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. There's a problem.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bets must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back
to
Football Live on Brilla FM.
On Brilla FM. Let's get back to the big match action.
Get it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
As I just mentioned just a few moments ago, we have had a goal in the German Bundesliga in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Kane Wiz, what's happened?
So disappointing if you beat Bochum in the early stages. The fact that they've absolutely peppered the Bayern Munich goal is so disappointing. But it comes from probably about a 20-30 second chance for Bayern Munich where the ball comes into the box. And I think it's Matthias de Ligt actually heads it back across. And the likes of Goretzka, Kimmich and Harry Kane all get opportunities to get a shot at goal, which it's all cleared off. But then the ball comes out to Goretzka just on the edge of the box and he just slides in Jamal Musiala onto the right hand side, gets 1v1 with the goalkeeper and absolutely smashes it top corner into the back of the net. Really disappointing for Bochum in the opening stages to think that they probably had 3 or 4 big opportunities, but 18 minutes in, a lot more settled Bayern Munich. It's Bochum 0, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much, Kane. The earlier game in the German Bundesliga was an absolute thriller between Freiburg and Frankfurt. It finished 3-3. Ed Dowling, tell us about that game. It seems to have been a classic.
Yeah, 6-goal thriller here in Freiburg. Disrupted in both the first half and the second half with displays from the fans, but the entertainment was still there on the pitch. We got the first goal from Omar Marmoush, who had an astonishing game here today, as he finished well from a great Philippe Max pass. But then a mistake from the goalkeeper Pratt led to a goal from Doan for the home side to level things there. And then substitute Nauf had an excellent finish, just only 5 minutes after the equaliser, to bring his team ahead before Grifo finished from the spot just before half time to make it 2-2. Nauf combined with Marmoush again to make it 3-2 in the second half. A fantastic goal there for him, the substitute. And then in the 89th minute, just before the 10 minutes were added on, Gregoritsch, the captain, levelled things for the home side to make it 3-3. Doesn't do too much for either team in terms of their European aspirations, but a fantastic game here in the Stadio Europa. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. 3-3 here in Freiburg.
Thank you so much, Ed Dowling, for all of your coverage on that absolute goal fest today. And there were a few goals in the game in the Saudi Pro League between Al Hilal and Al Raid. It was 3-1 to Al Hilal, the former Fulham forward, Mitrovic, scoring 2 of them. And it was the ex-Chelsea defender, Kalidou Koulibaly, with the 3rd goal for Al Hilal. We are keeping an eye on the game in the English Premier League between Luton Town and Manchester United. And I believe we've got an early yellow card. Jack Hesson.
Yep, first yellow card goes to Luke Shaw, the left back, Manchester United. It was on the right hand side for Ogbeni. He took a big touch to try and get past Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw seen it, he was going to have the better of him, and he would have had yards and space in front of him on that right hand side, and decided to just block him and take him out the game completely, and deservedly got the 2nd yellow card in the game. Collie Woodrow was the first player for Luton to get a yellow card earlier on. So 20 minutes played, it's Luton 1, Manchester United 2.
Thank you so much there, Jack. The other big game we've got on right now is between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are currently leading 1-0, but I believe they've just had a chance of getting a second. Kane Wears.
Massive opportunity, Rich, and it's just Joshua Kimmich. He just slides in Harry Kane, and the Bochum back line just stands still. He gets 1v1 with the goalkeeper and tries just a little flick over the goalkeeper, and it goes horribly wrong and goes wide of the mark, giving Bochum still an opportunity to be in the game. But 21 minutes played, still Bochum 0, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much there, Kane. We are all across this game going on in the German Bundesliga. Earlier today in Serie A, it was Lazio 1, Bologna 2, Empoli 1, Fiorentina 1, Udinese 1, Cagliari 1. And in about 8 minutes, it's kickoff between Frosinone and Roma. And coming up, it's Monza versus AC Milan. I did mention the Saudi Pro League a few moments ago. We got Al Ittihad taking on Al Riyadh. In about 10 minutes' time, Karim Benzema starting in that game. But it sounds like in Spain, in our relegation battle match, there's been a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
The last time we spoke to Ethan Gardiner, Almeria were winning 1-0 away at Granada. Who's got this goal, Ethan?
Well, it's a huge goal that has massive consequences in the relegation battle in La Liga in Spain, and it's Granada's top scorer for the season. Mirto Uzuni has scored. He slipped in through the middle of Almeria's defence. It's an incisive pass from the midfield. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he slots it away confidently. It's only his 7th of the season, but you wouldn't be able to tell that from the way he took the opportunity. It's a big goal for Granada, and it's heartbreak for Almeria, who were on their way to their first win of the season, but are now going to have to work even harder if that's going to be the case. After 76 minutes, it is now Granada 1, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much. So in the English Premier League, it's about 24 minutes gone in the game between Luton Town and Manchester United. We've already seen 3 goals. Manchester United leading 2-1. How is it looking at the moment, Jack Hesson? Is it looking like Manchester United could get a third, or are Luton fighting enough in this to perhaps get an equaliser?
I mean, the goal did come out of nothing a little bit for Luton, but it definitely shows how it feels like the game was going initially, where they couldn't get to grips with the game at all. They couldn't get any kind of control over the game. And as things have settled, then they have came into a lot more. I mean, they've had 58% of possession. They've dominated the possession stats for most of the first half so far. So, yeah, you can definitely see another couple of goals in this game. You cannot rule out Luton at all at this point in time. 23 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much there, Jack. The English Premier League on Saturday was absolutely fascinating. We've got an incredible title race going on, with Liverpool beating Brentford 4-1, Arsenal beating Burnley 5-0, but it was Manchester City who slipped up against a Chelsea side, which is hugely Jekyll and Hyde these days. You never really know what you're going to get with Chelsea. They did get a 4-4 draw earlier in the season at home against Manchester City, but they managed to get a point yesterday at the Etihad Stadium. So let's get the reflections now of the Chelsea manager, Mauricio Pochettino.
No, I think so pleased. Some games away from home against the big team to say yes. But of course, today great performance. We scored first. I think first half was a very good game. Yeah, so pleased. I think I told the player I feel so pleased and congratulate them because I think the effort was massive. The spirit that we showed today, I think is in the way that we want to compete. And competing in this way, for sure, with the talent that we have growing in all the areas, I think we will reach one day the level that we expect. But yes, of course, so pleased because to face a team or to play against a team that is the best on the world, never easy. And today, I think the character that I show and the personality, the player and the team make me very, very happy.
Mauricio Pochettino speaking after Chelsea's 1-1 draw away at Manchester City on Saturday. There's been a big chance in the game between Luton and Manchester United. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, chance for Carlton Morris to double his tally for today. Again, it all comes down from that left-hand side. A great ball in from Alfie Doughty into the box. Carlton Morris was there from about 10 yards, middle of the box, gets his head onto it, but couldn't guide it goalwards. So Luton this last 10 minutes or so certainly been a better team here. 25 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
We're getting into the last 10 minutes of the game between Granada and Almeria, and I believe there was a good chance just moments ago for Granada, Ethan Gardiner.
Yes, there was. It came from a free kick routine, that was worked by Granada to get a header at the back post that just went into the hands of the goalkeeper. But it was a fairly powerful header, and Granada clearly coming back into this game. Almeria's defence starting to creak after 79 minutes. It's Granada 1, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Kane Wears, in the game earlier between Freiburg and Frankfurt, there was a stoppage, and I believe you've got one now in the Bayern Munich Bochum game as well, right?
Yeah, as you say, in terms of a delay to proceedings with tennis balls being thrown on the pitch, so it seems the fans aren't happy with the German Football Federation for their controversial plan to sell a stake in the Bundesliga media rights to an outside investor, so it's given the players an opportunity to grab a drink, but yeah, just a bit of a delay in place. 26 minutes in, still Bochum 0, Bayern Munich 1.
How's this game been going, Kane? Has it been all Bayern so far?
No, complete opposite, to be honest. Bochum have had about 4 big opportunities in terms of 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and just failed to take them. 3 going wide and 1 hitting Manuel Neuer, and then that opportunity of 30 seconds of madness of such for Bayern Munich for them to get that goal in there from Musiala. But really, I think even in the build-up to it coming in recently, when Thomas Tuchel was on about trying to get Harry Kane in the game, he's hardly getting a touch of the ball, and it's really evident that he's dropping in too much to try and make things play. But yeah, still a delay. It actually looks like the referee might be taking the players off the pitch. Yeah, he is. The referee's actually taking the players all off the pitch now, as more tennis balls come flying onto the pitch now. So yeah, the game's actually been stopped 28 minutes in, so we'll see what happens now.
Yeah, we'll keep across it. Thank you so much, Kane Wears. So that game is still currently Bochum 0, Bayern Munich 1. In the English Premier League, it's still Luton Town 1, Manchester United 2. And earlier today, Sheffield United lost 5-0 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton bouncing back from that defeat to Tottenham last weekend. Meanwhile, in the Eredivisie, earlier we focused on the game between Ajax and NEC Nijmegen. Ajax looked like they were going to get all 3 points. They were leading 2-1, but ultimately conceded, and they ended up drawing 2-2. The other results in that division today, it was Twente 0, Utrecht 1, and Vitesse 1, Volendam 1. Feyenoord's game against Volvic, that's in the second half right now, and it's still goalless, but Volvic have had a red card. So finals are playing 11 against 10 right now. So there's been a chance for Manchester United in the game at Kenilworth Road. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, good opportunity not taken. Luton bringing numbers forward and he hit them on a quick counter-attack. Bruno Fernandes, he had a 3 versus 2 situation. He had Garnacho on his right, Rashford on his left. He opts to try and go for Garnacho on the right-hand side, but just puts too much on the pass and allows Luton to recover. Since Carlton Morris's goal in this game, Manchester United are yet to register any shot on goal, so it really has all been Luton since that goal to get themselves back in the game, and they're looking good at the moment. 30 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Fantastic stuff there in the English Premier League. So much going on around the world of football. The Premier League, we've also got games going on in Ligue 1 in France. Earlier today it was Strasbourg 1, Lorient 3. Monaco, they lost 2-1 at home to Toulouse. Big upset there. It was Montpellier 3, Metz 0. Rennes were 3-1 winners against Clermont. And at half-time, it's 1-1 between Reims and Lens. Later today, Marseille play away at Brest. And let's now get the latest from our game in Spain, in the battle between the bottom 2 sides, Granada and Almeria. I believe there was talk about a possible penalty there. Ethan Gardiner, what's been happening there?
Well, there was talk of a potential penalty, and actually it was initially given. Fetu Moassa threw on goal for Granada, taking a shot. He was then put to the floor in a shoulder challenge by Almeria's right-back Marc Cubil, but after a VAR review, it's been overturned, and in my opinion, it would have been a harsh penalty. It would have been quite a soft one to give. It is indeed no penalty. Almeria can breathe a slight sigh of relief. Of course, it remains 1-1 here, but there will be quite a lengthy a bit of added time at the end of the game, you would think, and that's going to be even more nerve-wracking. After 84 minutes, it remains Granada 1, Almeria 1.
It's been an exciting end to that game, and it's certainly an exciting first half at Kenilworth Road between Luton and Manchester United. And I believe the home side have come close to getting an equaliser. Jack Hesson.
Oh, it was nearly an absolute howler by guess who, Harry Maguire. A free kick safe in his own area. He tries to pass it out to Kobe Mainoo, and Ross Barkley was right in front of him as he passed it to him. He passed it straight to Ross Barkley. It was a 3 versus 2 situation. Barkley got the ball to Woodrow. Woodrow got a shot away, but Onana made the save. So, big let off there for the Red Devils. 31 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Yeah, I've got some good stats here from that game. Luton have had 7 shots, 2 on target. Manchester United have had 7 shots, 4 on target. But the possession stats are all with Luton. They've got 65% against Manchester United's 35%. So we will see what happens in that game. Jack Hesson is all across everything that is happening. Our other game is going on in the German Bundesliga between Bochum and Bayern Munich. The last time we spoke to Kane Wears, the players have been taken off the pitch. Is that game going to be resumed anytime soon?
Yeah, it actually looks like the game's about to be resumed, but really weirdly, some of the Bayern players have got jackets on. But it actually looks like Thomas Tuchel's going to make 2 or 3 substitutions potentially here with this break of play. And it was only 28 minutes into the game, but I can see, I think it's Upamecano getting warmed up on the pitch himself. And it looks like maybe Thomas Muller might be coming off as well. So the referee's trying to get all of the players back onto the pitch, and while both teams do a quick little warm-up, but a potential change early doors from Thomas Tuchel and Bayern Munich. But as soon as we see them changes happen, I'll let you know, Rich.
That would be really bold. Really interested to see what happens there, Kane. Thank you so much. All right, I think it's time to get some latest odds with NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. The English Premier League, 33 minutes gone. It's Luton Town 1, Manchester United 2. Luton Town, based on the stats you just given, they're quite a good price at the moment. They are 9.0 to turn it around, 5.25 for the draw, and 1.33 for a Manchester United win. The bettings are suspended for Bochum against Bayern Munich, as we just heard from Kane Wears. They might be starting very, very shortly. Granada against Almeria, still 1-0, 4 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Granada are 4.75 for the win. The draw has gone down to 1.44, and away win for Almeria is 6.50. The game in the Saudi Pro League just kicked off in the second minute between Al Ittihad against Al Riyadh. Of course, Karim Benzema is starting for Al Ittihad again. Al Ittihad are 1.17 for the draw, 6 points for the win. In fact, I do beg your pardon, 1.17 for Al Ittihad win. The draw is 6.0 and away win is 12.0. In the Greek Super League, it just kicked off as well. 3 minutes gone between AEK Athens and Kifisia. In fact, it's been suspended, so probably there's a goal of some sort there. So I'll just leave that for the time being. In the Dutch Eredivisie, which is the second tier, 62 minutes gone between FC Eindhoven and FC Groningen. It's 1-0 to FC Groningen. FC Eindhoven, not PSV, FC Eindhoven, they are 21.0 for the win. The draw is 5.25 and away win for FC Groningen is 1.16. In the Swiss Super League is Sevilla nil, Lugano 1. Sevilla are 8.50 to turn that around in the next 12 minutes. 3.0 for the draw, and Lugano are 1.67. It's still 0-0, 70 minutes gone in the Swiss Super League between Lucerne and FC Zurich. Lucerne are 4.75 for the win, 1.57 for the draw, and 4.75 for an away win for Zurich. As we mentioned, for the game with Luton Town, I can tell you Luton has gone down to 8.50. The draw is 5 now, and the away win for Manchester United is 1.36. If you're looking for goals, if you think it's going to be over 5.5 goals in that game, it's 2.40. If you think it's going to be over 6.5 goals, it's 4.75. Now, players, if you think Rasmus Højlund will score next, well, at the moment, believe it or not, Rich, I can't find him. So I'm going to leave Rasmus Højlund for the time being. But Casemiro is just gone up to 7.50 to score next. Marcus Rashford, he is 4.20 to score the anytime in this game, so it doesn't have to be the next one. And Ross Barkley, he's 8.0 to score anytime. So all these prices are from Nairabet and is all subject to change.
Wonderful stuff. Thanks, John. You said you can't find Rasmus Højlund. It sounds like you are one of the Luton Town defenders, because Højlund has scored 2 goals in this game already. Jack Hessen, there's been a couple of chances since we last spoke to you.
Yeah, a couple of decent chances. The first one, left-hand side, Tati Chong into Collie Woodrow. Couldn't find the pass, even though he was open in the box. And then a chance there for Carlton Moyes, just goes wide. Should also add that Casemiro is now on a yellow card for foul on Sambi Lakonga. 36 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you. We were wondering if the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich was going to restart, and it has. And there's been a goal.
The goals, powered by Nairabet.
Yes, the players in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich left the field after tennis balls were thrown onto the pitch. Bayern were leading at the time, 1-0 thanks to their young player, Jamal Musiala, the really talented young German midfielder. But Bochum have got an equaliser. Kane Wears, who scored it?
Yeah, it's Asano for Bochum, and what an absolute shambles from Bayern Munich again. And this has been coming a long while. Literally about a minute or so beforehand as well. Upamecano, who's just came on actually for Mazrui just before, they're building up at the back and they just lose it to Sturga, and Sturga breaks and plays an Antwi Adeji, who just gets a shot off. They should have learned their lesson, but it's happened again. It has again, but this time it's Lasilla who wins the ball. Suddenly, there's just Matthias at the back for Bayern Munich, and somehow he just bursts through and actually gets 1v1 with Manuel Neuer and just slots it in. It's so easy. Thomas Tuchel will be fuming with his Bayern Munich back line. The fact that everyone just seems to be pushing forward. But that means that Bochum are in the game. So 32 minutes in, Bochum 1, Bayern 1.
Yes, things not going too well for Bayern Munich at the moment. They'll be hoping to turn things around in that game. Now, we are getting close to full time in our featured contest in the Spanish La Liga. It's at the bottom of the table between Granada and Almeria. Almeria have yet to win in this division. They're currently being held 1-1. Ethan Gardiner, is this going to peter out as a draw?
I don't think so, actually. We've got 7 minutes of added time left because, of course, 9 were added with 2 minutes into that. But both sides still working chances. We have just seen a bit of a controversial moment. One of the Almeria attackers, Pozzo, who was brought on as a substitute, given a yellow for simulation, trying to win a penalty and deceive the referee. It's a disappointing thing to see, but there have been some other substitutions for Granada. They are still sensing and sniffing a chance of a win here. It should be an interesting end to the game. After 92 minutes, it remains Granada 1, Almeria 1, but don't count a winner out yet.
All right, we will be back with you if we do get a winner, of course. Ethan Gardiner there. It's still 1-1 between Bochum and Bayern Munich, but Kane Wiz, I believe there's a possible penalty shout from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's just been checked and not given, but actually really questionable, to be honest. And this is what you want from a Bayern Munich team when you've got Harry Kane in it. Similar to when Tottenham had him. Try and play it into Harry Kane as quick as possible and he'll make things happen. And they just slide him in. He gets 1v1, he does with Slotterbeck. Just knocks the ball past him, but it looks like Slotterbeck catches him. But actually, I think the referees gave him a yellow card for diving on that. But a lot better from Bayern Munich and trying to bring Harry Kane more into the game. But as you say, still 39 minutes played. Bochum 1, Bayern 1.
Thank you so much, Kane. In the English Premier League, it's still Luton 1, Manchester United 2, but it seems that the Luton players aren't very happy right now. Jack Hassan, what's going on?
Yeah, they think Casemiro should have got a second yellow card there. It was a loose ball in the middle of the park. Ross Barkley got on the end of it. Casemiro stretched out his foot to try and get a touch on it. He got none of the ball, and all of the player. Luton, the referee gave the foul initially, or he did give the foul, but did not look at that for a second yellow, which really did incense some of the Luton Town players. Carlton Morris having a word with the referee as well. They think that should have been a second yellow, and Casemiro walking a tightrope. Now 40 minutes played. Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much. Of course, Manchester United won 2-1 last weekend at Aston Villa, but they aren't in the top 4 places. Of course, it could be 5 that go into the Champions League next season. Manchester United currently 6th. They're behind Spurs, who are in 5th, and it's Aston Villa who are on 49 points. And that's because they beat Fulham 2-1 yesterday. They're in pole position to get that 4th spot at the moment. Let's get some reaction now from their goalkeeper Emi Martinez after that victory.
Massive win. We thought that Man United at home was a big win, to have 11 points cut from them. We lost at the end, it's a game that we didn't deserve to lose, and coming in here was, a question mark because we got a few injuries, we had 3 ACL injuries in one season, that's not normal. It's abnormal to have that. We've been a little bit unlucky, and the one thing we said that before the game, we need to play for them, because we have the chance to put things right every weekend that they don't. They're at home supporting us, they're coming to training every day, and seeing 3 of my good mates having 3 ACLs, it's a shock for everyone. We try to play for them.
Emi Martinez, the World Cup winning goalkeeper for Aston Villa there after their 2-1 win over Fulham, which is cementing their place in 4th in the English Premier League. Let's go to Spain, and the game between Granada and Almeria is in stoppage time, and I believe there's been a huge chance for Almeria. Ethan Gardiner.
Yes, indeed. It was a 2-on-1 against the goalkeeper of Granada for Almeria. A defensive error, a missed interception, really, and it fell through to Alex Pozzo in attacks for Almeria. He was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. His chance was stopped. It then fell to the substitute striker Milovanovic, who would have had an open goal in front of him had he been able to take it under his spell, but the ball just got away from him. It fell into open space, and Granada have managed to clear after 96 minutes. There's still time, but it remains Granada 1, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much, Ethan. And it seems that there has been another goal in our German Bundesliga clash between Bochum and Bayern Munich.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It really hasn't been a very good season for Bayern Munich. They're out of the Pokal. They lost the Super Cup. They were beaten in midweek 1-0 by Lazio in the first leg of their round of 16 tie. And now Bayern Munich are losing 2-1 to Bochum. You've got to remember, earlier this season, they absolutely thrashed them 7-0. Bayern actually took the lead in this game. It was Musiala who put them in front, but then Asano got a goal back. And as this game is approaching halftime, albeit there was a big delay, a big stoppage time because of the protest going on the field, but it is now Bochum who have the lead. Kane Wears, who's got it for Bochum?
Yeah, it's Slotterbeck who scored for Bochum, and it's simple corner just on the right-hand side, an in-swinger from Sturger. This is the third time that Manuel Neuer's been caught out by this, of just trying to come out to collect the ball and completely missing it. Slotterbeck's just got in front of him and just nodded it in. Absolute shambles again from Bayern Munich. The actual corner came from Upamecano, who's been on the pitch a few minutes, giving a foul away, a yellow card, and then getting in front of the foul and throwing himself in it again and giving away a corner. Bayern Munich look all over the place. Thomas Tuchel's got his head in his hands, but it's Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thanks so much, Kane Wears. There's actually going to be 14 minutes of injury time in that game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Bochum all the way down in 15th in the table. We are getting close to the full-time whistle in our game in Spain between Granada and Almeria. It's still 1-1. Is anything about to change, Ethan Gardiner?
Well, we've just had a free kick from Granada saved by the Almeria goalkeeper, Maximiano. It's the most work he's had to do in a little while, but chances still being worked. There's just over a minute left. Maybe one side can nick it now, but it would be absolutely devastating for whoever loses. It remains Granada 1, Almeria 1.
Yes, that game is approaching full time. Almeria going to be thwarted the chance of getting their first victory in La Liga this season in this real relegation battle. Ding dong. Let's get the latest now in our game in the English Premier League between Luton and Manchester United. It's approaching half-time. Jack Hesson, are Manchester United going to go in the break still leading 2-1?
I think they might be all right to see it out at the moment, but I think they are struggling. Luton have been the team on the ascendancy, certainly since Manchester United's second goal. Really, Luton have been the team dominating possession, dominating the chances. Another yellow card there for Harry Maguire. He took out Carlton Morris just outside the edge of the area. It was a cynical foul to stop the play, and he deservedly received a yellow card. So that's the third yellow card in the game now for Manchester United. 45 minutes played, we're into 4 minutes of added time now. It's Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much, Jack. And the full-time whistle has blown in Spain in the game between Granada and Almeria. Ethan Gardiner.
Yes, on a day that Almeria looked to get their first win of the season, or Granada looked to close the gap to safety. Both teams will be disappointed with this outcome. Both had their fair share of chances to win the game, but in the end, it ends 1-1. A 23rd goal in the league for the season for Almeria put them a goal up. It was actually a very, very well-hit effort from Mark Hubel, but they couldn't hold on to their lead, with Murto Uzuni equalising for Granada in the second half. There was plenty of added time and plenty of VAR controversy, with a penalty disallowed and 2 goals disallowed. But in the end, both sides edge further away from safety in La Liga. It finishes Granada 1, Almeria 1.
Thank you so much, Ethan. In the English Premier League, it's approaching half-time between Luton and Manchester United. And Jack Hesson, I believe Luton have come close to getting an equaliser.
Yeah, it was a well-worked bit of play there. Felt it, Alfred Autry at the edge of the area. Took a low-driven shot. It looked so promising at the bottom right-hand corner and went just wide. I can tell you news of a substitution as well. Victor Lindelof is on. Luke's shot is off. He went straight down the tunnel, suggesting that he might be injured. 48 minutes on the clock now. It's Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much. Over in Germany, it's a surprise lead for Bochum. They're winning 2-1 against Bayern Munich, and they've come close to getting a third. Kane Wears.
Yeah, it should be 3-1, and this just sums up Bayern Munich's afternoon. The ball goes out for a throw-in, and Bayern Munich are complaining about it like mad. And Rafael Guerreiro just throws the ball to Kim, who's complaining. Kim's not even watching the game. The ball goes behind him, and it's Antwer Hidechi just runs through 1v1 with Neuer and doesn't take his chance. It should be 3-1, but it's still Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much, Kane Wears. So, as I mentioned earlier today in the English Premier League, it was Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 5. And yes, 5. I said 5. Unbelievable. And between Luton and Manchester United, it's currently 2-1 to Manchester United. We're approaching half-time there. United really desperate to get in those Champions League places. And we heard just a few minutes ago from the Aston Villa goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, on their 2-1 victory over Fulham. Let's now hear from their manager, Unai Emery.
We worked fantastic and we compete fantastic, and we were defensively as well strong. We conceded 1 goal, but we conceded some chances, but we were more or less in 90 minutes feeling strong defensively, and then with the ball as well, we controlled the game sometimes like I think we have to do. And we were clinical, but even we created some chances, got 1 more goal. But really in 90 minutes, I am very proud of the work, the players' work. I am very proud of our way as well. Of course, we were very strong at home, and we lost 2 matches at home in a row against Newcastle and Manchester United, but our reaction was fantastic in Sheffield and was fantastic now, and our challenge is again thinking Saturday and Nottingham in Villa Park.
That was Unai Emery talking after Aston Villa's 2-1 victory over Fulham on Saturday in the Premier League to keep them in 4th in the table. Let's run through some of the scores in the Nigerian PFL. These are all full-time scores. It's Katsina United 1, Niger 0, Abia Warriors 0, Remo Stars 0. Bayelsa United were 2-0 winners over Gombe. Enugu beat Aqua United 1-0. Plateau were 2-1 winners over Lobi Stars. Rivers United beat Doma United 3-2. Sporting Lagos won 1-0 against Bendel, and it was a 1-1 draw between Sunshine Stars and Kwara. Over in the Saudi Pro League, the latest there, it's Al Ittihad 1, Al Riyadh 0. But it is now half-time in our game between Luton Town and Manchester United at Kenilworth Road. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, half-time, it's Luton 1, Manchester United 2, and Manchester United will feel lucky that they're going in to the break with the lead. It really was an early Luton collapse that gave them those 2 goals. First one straight in the first minute. Amari Bell mistake led to a Hoyland 1-on-1, which he dispatched to make it 1-0, get himself the 6th goal of the season. He doubled it up with his 7th goal of the season on 7 minutes when he chested it into the bottom right-hand corner off the end of a Garnacho half volley that was botched, went straight to his chest. He guided it in, and it looked like they are smooth sailing for Manchester United, but look, they got themselves back into the game, really dominated all the possession stats, all the chances from then on in, and Carlton Morris on 14 minutes headed in off a wicked Harry Maguire deflection to leave himself a header from 6 yards to give Luton a goal back. But as I mentioned, Luton from then 60% possession, dominated the chances. Manchester United didn't get a single shot on target from 14 minutes onward, and they'll have to change something up in the second half because Luton are the team in the ascendancy at the moment. Half time, it's still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Yes, I was going to ask you, Jack, what do you think Erik ten Hag will be saying to his players at half-time?
I think he'll try and shore things up for them. He might look to try and even go a bit more defensive. Really what they should probably be doing is trying and going for the jugular for that 3rd goal, because I think the next goal in this game is the most crucial one. If Luton get a goal back, they've got momentum at the moment, they'll continue to have the momentum if they get the equaliser for 2 each. And for Manchester United, they just really probably want to get out of here now with all 3 points. It should be a fascinating second half.
Thank you so much, Jack. Of course, that game is at half-time. We're in stoppage time in our match in the Bundesliga in Germany between Bochum and Bayern Munich. And last time we heard from Kane Wears, it was Bochum leading 2-1. What's been happening in the last few minutes, Kane?
Yeah, never mind tennis balls being on the pitch. The game's now more like a basketball game. It's opened up so much, and it's just end-to-end it is. The likes of Asano, Lasilla and Sturger for Bochum keep winning the ball just in central areas and driving the likes of Irvin and Bernardo forwards and just getting crosses into the box. Bayern Munich are really struggling to even get a hold of the ball at times. Really only had 1 chance probably in the last minute or so where they've slid in Harry Kane again. And he's just put his effort wide, but the only player that looks like creating anything, to be honest, is Musiala out on that left-hand side, who just keeps getting fed the ball and being direct towards Masovic on the right-hand side. But yeah, still end-to-end. We're only halfway through injury time as well, but still Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much, Kane Wears. We'll be across that game and Luton versus Manchester United with our continued coverage here on Football Live on Brilla FM. Just a reminder, the scores today so far, it was Sheffield United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 5 in the English Premier League. It's half-time in the game between Luton and Manchester United. Manchester United are leading 2-1. In the German Bundesliga, it finished 3-3 between Freiburg and Frankfurt. You just heard moments ago from Kane Weers. It's currently 2-1 to Bochum in their game against Bayern Munich. Earlier today, we had coverage from Serie A where it finished 1-1 between Udinese and Cagliari. There's one game going on there at the moment. It's goalless at the moment between Frosinone and AS Roma. It was a disappointing day for Ajax of Amsterdam in the Eredivisie. They drew 2-2 against NEC Nijmegen. And there was a bit of an upset in La Liga. Real Madrid held to a 1-1 draw against Rayo Vallecano. They made that short trip across the capital, but could only get a point. And it was a thrilling game at the bottom of the table as Granada drew 1-1 with Almeria. We will be back with more coverage of our featured contest between Luton Town and Manchester United and Bochum versus Bayern Munich in just a few moments' time. But for now, I'm going to hand you back to FJ and the team.
This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Hello, welcome back to Football Live on Brilla FM. I am Richard Parr. It has been an absolute fantastic feast of football we've been delivering to you this afternoon. There's been goals galore across the European continent and beyond. We've been reporting goals for you from as far as the Saudi Pro League to as very close to England, where earlier today in the English Premier League, Sheffield United lost 5-0 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. There's a game between Luton and Manchester United, which is going on right now, and Manchester United leading 2-1. We'll get the latest from there in just a few moments. We've also been all across the German Bundesliga, where it's been Freiburg 3, Frankfurt 3. That was an absolute thriller earlier today. Meanwhile, it's now half-time in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Let's hear now from our reporter, Kane Weers, because, Kane, it has been a real big surprise that first half.
Yeah, Bayern with a lot of work to do at the break, and it's hammering down with rain here, and it never rains but it pours for Thomas Tuchel. His side led through Musiala's sixth of the season early on with a great little finish on the right-hand side, firing it into the top corner. But after a lengthy delay due to a fan protest, loads of tennis balls on the pitch, Bochum have came back and really got in Bayern Munich's face, pressed them, won the ball in some good positions and looked to break. And Asano's precise finish levelled matters before Slotterbeck's header just from a corner just gets up in front of Manuel Neuer just to head it in, completes the turnaround. But Bayern Munich look all over the place defensively and at times just have one player at the back, and a lot of work to do for an under pressure Thomas Tuchel in this second half.
Yeah, Kane, what do you think Bayern actually need to do in the second half?
I think I'd mentioned it just before half-time of how the games became so open and like not tennis balls being on the pitch but more so like a basketball game, and that's not like a Bayern Munich side of where they allow the game to open up and allow the other team to have chances, because ultimately with the likes of Musiala, Goretzka, Kimmich, Müller on the pitch, they should be able to control the game, but they're not doing that. They're trying to just basically get it forward as quick as possible, and 9 times out of 10 aren't finding Harry Kane, so it's a slight worry that. And then the likes of I think it's now Upamecano and Guerrero who are pushing right on in terms of full-back. It's leaving Kim and Matthias de Ligt at the back by themselves against the front two of Antwi Adeji and Brzezinski, who are just counter-attacking every time. So I think they just need to be that little bit more organised and just manage the game a bit more and not open it up as much and keep control. And if they do that with the quality they've got, they should be able to turn this game around and win the game. But if not, they're allowing this open for Bochum and allowing them to have chances.
All right, we will have to see what goes on there. Thank you so much, Kane Weers. Of course, that match is still at half-time because there was 14 minutes stoppage time played at the end of the first half due to that protest that Kane had just mentioned. Now, Manchester United are currently leading 2-1 against Luton. The second half has commenced at Kenilworth Road, and Manchester United have actually made a couple of changes. Jack Hesson.
Yes, they have. It's 2 tactical changes from Eric Ten Hag. Casemiro, a walking red card in the first half, is off for Scott McTominay, and Harry Maguire as well, also a bit of a walking red card in the making, also taken off for the veteran Johnny Evans. They had a decent chance there just a couple of minutes ago. Onana found a run of Dallo towards the box. He plays a great long ball, splits the Luton defence. Dallo, he's essentially one-on-one. Kaminsky comes out to cause problems for him. Dallo, he dillies and dallies on the ball a little too much, and Kaminsky is able to recover. So it's an opening game here at Kenilworth Road. 50 minutes played. It's Luton 1, Man United 2.
Dallo, dillies and dallies. I love that, Jack. Lovely alliteration. There is a goal in Serie A in the game between Frosinone and AS Roma, and it's Roma who've taken the lead in the 39th minute. It's Huijsen with the goal there in that match. Earlier today in Serie A, Lazio lost at home to Bologna 2-1. Empoli and Fiorentina drew 1-1, and Udinese and Cagliari also drew 1-1. Monza face AC Milan in a few hours' time. Now, one of the big talking points in football this week has been about the future of Kylian Mbappe. He scored for Paris Saint-Germain against Real Sociedad on Tuesday in their last 16 first leg. And then it was announced that he had told the owner of Paris Saint-Germain, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, that he plans to leave the club at the end of the season. We saw this nearly happen 2 seasons ago. It looked like he was going to leave the Parc des Princes, but instead he decided to stay. But it feels like this could be the end of Mbappe's tenure at Paris Saint-Germain. Let's bring in John Kane. John, there's lots of talk about where Mbappe could go next, and a lot of that is to do with Real Madrid. Do you think that is a done deal?
To be honest with you, I think from hearing over the last year or so from reports in Spain, it looks like it was a done deal for about a year ago, not just now. I think what Mbappe done is just sort of confirming that he's going to leave, and I think the door is definitely open for Real Madrid. He expressed his desire over the last couple of seasons that he wants to go to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid expressed desire that they want him. It's just a matter of when, and I think next season, or in fact this summer, I'm talking about a few months really, 2-3 months, I can see him going to Real Madrid. There are other teams in the mix. There are Arsenal, there are Liverpool. Of course, there's the Saudi Pro League. There's even Manchester City. But I think in the end of the day, when you look at it realistically, Madrid are definitely firm favourites. Of course, there's few odds going around on him going to Real Madrid, which I can't discuss. It's nothing to do with Naira, so I'll leave that on the side. However, all the odds does show that Madrid are firm favourites to get the services of Kylian Mbappe. But all the reports from Spain are more or less confirming that, but obviously nothing official as yet. And to be honest, if he ends up staying at PSG or going anywhere else, I'll be very, very surprised next season.
Yeah, well, he's such a talented player. He's arguably one of the best strikers in the world, probably Erling Haaland being the other top striker. And I think Manchester City would be pretty pleased if Mbappe was to go to Real Madrid, because it would mean that they could probably keep Haaland for a little bit longer than they were probably hoping or thinking they could. I think a lot of fans of the English Premier League would love to see Mbappe in England. I know Mikel Arteta was asked about that on Friday. He played it down, but said Arsenal should be in the conversation for top players like this. I'd just like to get your thoughts, John, on the fact that Liverpool have been named, they've been put in the mix in the past about Mbappe, but how much do you think, now that Jurgen Klopp is going to leave Liverpool at the end of the season, that Mbappe will rule that out completely because there's uncertainty over the manager?
I think if Liverpool said they actually got a new manager coming up, and this is the manager who's going to replace Jurgen Klopp, I think would make Liverpool one of the favourites. In fact, he might even change his mind last minute or over the next couple of months or so and go to Liverpool. But the situation as it is at Liverpool, as we all know aware, we don't know who's going to be the next manager comes June when Jurgen Klopp does leave Liverpool. So you're absolutely right. I think more or less it distanced Liverpool magnificently, where probably they were the second favourites for him to go to, and now we're talking about even Arsenal are more favourite to go for Kylian Mbappe to go to rather than actually going to Liverpool. I mean, Arsenal, they're heading in the right direction, and obviously they'll be playing Champions League football the way it's going at the moment next season, which is very important for someone like Kylian Mbappe. But you can't rule out Arsenal at this stage, but it's just my heart and my brains, which not always right, obviously, by the way, Richard, but, you know, telling me that is actually is we going to Real Madrid. The only thing about Real Madrid, and funny enough, one of the reporters in Spain did mention that, said, oh, good and well, he goes to Real Madrid, he'll sell the shirts and everything else, but where is he going to play? That's going to cause a bit of friction, because him and Vinicius Jr., they're both more or less left-footed players. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen to Vinicius Jr. if Mbappe goes. Is he going to put Mbappe in the middle, or is he going to play him on the left? In that case, what's going to happen to Vinicius Jr.? So technically, you have to think about that sort of things. But I think there is a big love between Real Madrid and Mbappe, and I think Madrid will do anything at all to bring him into the Bernabeu next season.
Yeah, I think you're right. And as you mentioned, Vinicius Jr. and playing on the left, it would be the same for Arsenal with Gabriel Martinelli, who plays so well on that left wing for Arsenal. But of course, Arsenal have had one of the greatest French strikers in history in Thierry Henry. Could Mbappe want to emulate him? We will see so much to talk about, and we will follow all of it on Football Live here on Brilla FM. Let's get back to some of our live action now. Luton Town are facing Manchester United, and I believe there's been an early chance in the second half for the home side. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, decent chance there for the Hatters. It was Højlund dispossessed too easily in the middle of the park by Tatif Chong. He finds a space for Doughty on the left-hand side. He plays a beautiful ball across the face of goal, and it just evades Collie Woodrow in the middle of the box. So Luton knocking at the door. Still 56 minutes on the clock. Still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much. And the second half has started in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Kane Wiz, what's been going on?
Yeah, just as the same as the first half, to be honest. Bochum have got on the ball and are just popping it around and look very comfortable. Bayern Munich don't look to have changed much in terms of the first half, in terms of intensity. They're not really pressing and getting into Bochum's faces, and they're actually allowing them to play. Bochum, incidentally, from kickoff, just kicked off and just ran towards Bayern Munich and actually just got through the midfield and luckily got tackled by Matthias de Ligt at centre-half, so it's slightly worrying that that's how they started the second half, but still Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Thank you so much, Kane. And I believe there's been a chance for Manchester United at Kenilworth Road. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, both sides just getting a lot of space in behind each other. It's a really open game. This time Marcus Rashford on the right-hand side does an excellent mazy run in towards the box, and just from the edge of the area hits a left-footed shot, forces Kaminski into a great save. So as I mentioned, lots of space in the high up areas for both sides here. 57 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
So we've got two games right now which are extremely tight. As Jack just mentioned, it's 2-1 between Luton and Manchester United. Manchester United leading there, and it's 2-1 to Bochum in the game against Bayern Munich. I was about to get some latest odds, but I believe there's been a chance in that game in the Bundesliga. Let's go to Kane Wiz. Kane.
Massive opportunity, Rich, and it actually comes from Joshua Kimmich, plays the ball into Harry Kane, and the ball just bounces again off Harry Kane, and he actually slides in one of the Bochum centre forwards in Brzezinski, who gets 1v1 with a goalkeeper and forces Manuel Neuer into a really good save. That really sums up completely Harry Kane's afternoon, that he seems to be playing more completed passes to Bochum than what he is his own teammates, and massively fortunate for Bayern Munich. But still Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Very frustrating for the German champions. All right, we've got two matches which are incredibly close, so let's get the latest odds from NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. 59 minutes gone in English Premier League. It's still Luton Town 1, Manchester United 2. Luton are 11.0 to turn it around, and we'll ask Jack Hassan on his thoughts on that, on the odds. Of course, they're still rising, but not much really. 4.0 for the draw, and it's 1.36 for an away win for Manchester United. Bochum against Bayern Munich. 3rd minute of the second half is Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1. Bochum leading by 2-1, but they're 3.0 to maintain that win. It's 3.20 for the draw, and Bayern Munich are 2.50. Now, if you're a firm believer of Bayern Munich to turn it around, they are 2.50, but you have to look at their recent form. That makes a big difference. In Italian Serie A, it's half-time between Frosinone and Roma. Roma are leading by 1-0. Frosinone are 7.0 for the win. The draw has gone down to 4.0, and Roma away win is 1.53. In Spanish La Liga, Mallorca are leading Real Sociedad by a goal to nil after 18 minutes. Mallorca are 1.85 for the win. The draw is 3.25, and away win for Real Sociedad is 4.75. Reims against Lens. 4 minutes to go, and that game plus stoppage time is 1-1 there. Reims are 8.0 for the win, 8.50 for Len, and 1.22 for the draw. Let's just go back quickly for the English Premier League. It's still 11.0 for Luton Town, 4.50 for the draw, and it's gone down to 1.33 for Manchester United, and likewise for Bochum, it's gone down to 2.80, and Bayern Munich gone up to 2.60. Of course, all these prices from Nairabet, and is all subject to change.
Thank you so much, John Kane, with the latest odds there from Nairabet. Let's get the latest now from the game between Luton and Manchester United. What's been going on, Jack Hesson?
Oh, a massive chance for Bruno Fernandes to put this game on ice for Man United. It was Rasmus Højlund, middle of the park, found Garnacho. Garnacho plays a quick pass to Fernandes, who's running towards the goal. He gets the pass to him, one-on-one. Kaminski comes out of his goal, doesn't know what to do. Fernandes rounds Kaminski and then goes for the shot, but it was Lokonga who flew himself even in front of that shot to deny the goal. Big chance for United. Luton getting away with that one there. 61 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much, Jack. In the earlier game in the English Premier League, Brighton were 5-0 winners against Sheffield United. Sheffield United had a player sent off early in the first half. That was Mason Holgate after just 13 minutes. And then Brighton and Hove Albion just couldn't stop scoring. They scored twice in the first half through Facundo Buonanotte and Danny Welbeck. And then there was an own goal in the second half in the 75th minute from Jack Robinson. At that point, the fans of Sheffield United started to stream out of Bramall Lane. Very disappointed. That then allowed Simon Adingra to score 2 late goals for Brighton and Hove Albion, who finished 5-0 winners against Sheffield United. It really isn't good for the home side at the moment. So let's hear now from their manager, Chris Wilder.
And I've got to say, if you know, there's certain teams you don't want to go down to 10 men against, and one of them would be the team that we played this afternoon. So yeah, it obviously altered everything in the game and how the game went. It's got to get the balance right. You know, I don't think there's any hiding place in that. You know, it's a mistimed tackle. You know, whether it's too powerful as people talk about, or however they want to dress it up. Game's moved on. I get it, but it certainly gave yellow card straight away. I think he pulled out, but with VAR it gives them the opportunity of upgrading it, and obviously they did that.
Chris Wilder talking about that red card to Mason Holgate, which VAR deemed a red card after it was initially been given a yellow card on the field. But I believe Manchester United have a chance in their game against Luton. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, decent chance there from Garnacho. It was from a corner from the far side. Bruno Fernandes hits a lovely daisy cutter across right to Garnacho, sitting on the edge of the area. It looked perfect for the first time volley, but he takes an extra touch to set himself, and his shot goes straight at Thomas Kaminski in goal. Man United chances have been coming for them in this second half, but a really open game on both sides. 63 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much, Jack. Yeah, some of the stats here. It's Luton have had 14 shots, 3 of them on target. Manchester United have had 14 as well, but they've had 7 on target. And crucially, they've scored 2 of them. They lead 2-1. In our other game today, it's Bochum leading Bayern Munich 2-1 as well. We'll bring you all the latest in a few minutes. You are listening to Football Live.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live.
Football Live is back on Brilla FM next Saturday afternoon. Join Dean Kilford from 4:45, an action-packed afternoon of 6 featured matches in the Premier League. Manchester United against Fulham and the champions Manchester City make the trip to Bournemouth. And there's Bundesliga action too. Bayern Munich against Leipzig. Join us next Saturday for another action-packed show. Football Live, exclusive on Brilla FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form into dreamland. Oh my God, they were crying. What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's a problem.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bet must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to Football Live
to Football Live
on Brilla FM.
On Brilla FM. Let's get back to the big match action.
Get it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us here on Brilla FM for Football Live. I am Richard Parr. We've had so many goals, so much action this afternoon, and it keeps on coming. Let's head out to Germany now in the Bundesliga in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. And I believe we've seen tennis balls again, Kane Weirs.
Yeah, there's tennis balls on the pitch again, and it's actually, as soon as Bayern Munich are getting back into the game again, looks like just a tactic by Bochum here. That Bayern Munich have had a couple of opportunities early doors from Harry Kane and Eric Choupo-Moting, and the balls went up for a corner, and the whole stands now just threw into the box loads of tennis balls, and players halted 54 minutes in. So Bayern Munich are starting to get back into the game, but again, it's Antwi Adeji for Bochum, who keeps providing a few chances out wide. He's peeling out more towards the left, where that gap is, where I think it's Upamecano's pushing on now. And just as we say that, the referee's taking everyone off the pitch, and there's banners now all up in the stand, obviously protesting against the rights with the Bundesliga of selling them off. So the referee's taking everyone off the pitch. So 54 minutes played. It's still 2-1, but players been stopped again, and all the players are being taken off the pitch.
All right, thank you so much, Kane Weirs. And there's been a big chance for Manchester United at Luton. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, that really should have been 3-1. Luton pulling numbers forward. United hit them on the counter-attack. Rashford finds the run of Garnacho, plays a beautiful pass, splits the Luton defence. Garnacho bearing down on goal, 1 versus 1. He tries to round Kaminski, takes a trip up on his own feet, and then tries to recover. Amari Bell is able to then get back for Luton and recover, but really, Garnacho should have put that one away. 67 minutes on the clock, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Jack, do you think Garnacho just tried to do too much there? Is he someone who does that a little bit too often, do you think?
Yeah, I think he overthinks too much. Look at the chance earlier from the corner that came to the edge of the area, where really it's one of those ones that you've just got to hit on the first time volley, and he takes that touch. And I think in this situation as well, you can't think about it. You've got to round the keeper, you've got to get your foot round on it, and then just get it in the back of the net in those situations. There's no time for messing about, and you just get the feeling that these big chances for Man United in the second half, they're going to regret missing them if the game carries on as it is.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. We'll be back with you with any goals as they come. But Kane Weirs is following the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. And we've joked at times today about the tennis balls being thrown on the pitch, but the Bayern Munich players don't seem happy at all, Kane.
Yeah, Thomas Muller's actually going towards the Bochum crowd and it looks furious, absolutely furious. And Thomas Tuchel is shouting stuff towards the crowd as well. He's actually took his team down the tunnel and back into the changing rooms. As we just speak, we can see Lasilla as well going from Bochum, going towards the fans. And he's actually climbing up just onto the stand there and asking them to stop. I think just as he's coming back there, he's saying to the referees, told them to stop there. But as you say, Bayern Munich have went down the tunnel, absolutely furious that the game's been stopped again and been interrupted due to fan protests, just as they were starting to get back in the game. But still Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much, Kane. Earlier today in La Liga, Real Madrid were held to a 1-1 draw away at Rayo Vallecano. They'd taken the lead early on, through Hosselu, but De Thomas scored an equaliser, and then Danny Carvajal was sent off in the 95th minute. Granada drew 1-1 in the battle with Almeria at the bottom of the table. That was 19 versus 20. Very disappointing there for Almeria, who were so close to getting their first win of the season. And at the moment, it's about half an hour played in the game between Mallorca and Real Sociedad. And it's Mallorca who lead 1-0 thanks to a 4th-minute goal from Sanchez. Over in Italy, it's half-time between Frosinone and Roma. Frosinone are behind in that game. Roma scoring a goal through Huysen in the 38th minute. Jack Hesson is following the game between Luton Town and Manchester United. There's about 20 minutes of normal time to be played there. Are we expecting to see another goal, Jack?
I think, as I mentioned in the first half, and I think it's even more the case now, the next goal in this game is absolutely crucial. Both teams getting spaces in behind. There's a lot of space for Man United. There's been a lot of space for Luton as well, and they've looked dangerous going forward as well. But Man United, with that early start, the early 2 goals, if they were to mess this up now, that would be incredibly disappointing for them. But Luton really feel like so far they've deserved something out of the game. 70 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much, Jack. It was a really fantastic day in the English Premier League yesterday. Liverpool won 4-1 at Brentford. Arsenal won 5-0 at Burnley. Aston Villa won 2-1 at Fulham. Newcastle got a draw against Bournemouth, finishing 2-2. Matt Ritchie with the equaliser. Nottingham Forest were 2-0 winners over West Ham. A lot of pressure right now on David Moyes at West Ham, especially after they lost 6-0 last week at home to Arsenal. Tottenham, they surprisingly lost 2-1 at home to Wolves. Gomez with a couple of goals there, really denting the chances of getting in the Champions League for Ange Postecoglou and co. And in the late game on Saturday, it finished Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Raheem Sterling had given Chelsea the lead, but then Manchester City managed to salvage a draw thanks to an equaliser from Rodri. Today in the English Premier League, Sheffield United have lost to Brighton 5-0, and the latest between Luton and Manchester United is United lead 2-1. But on Monday, we've got one more Premier League game to round off the weekend. It's between Everton, who, of course, have had an all-right season considering their 10-point deduction, albeit they are in the relegation zone as we speak, and they face a Crystal Palace side who are rumoured to have a new manager. Roy Hodgson went into hospital this week, but there are multiple reports that the former Eintracht Frankfurt coach, Oliver Glasner, is going to take over that role. We will see what happens, but on Monday it will be Everton versus Crystal Palace. So let's hear now from the Everton manager, Sean Dyche.
So I think some of the performances have been very good. Clean sheets in amongst them and points against some tough sides, you know. So I think there's a good challenge for the group. So I think there's a lot of positive signs about what we're trying to do. We've just got to score more goals, and I think we all know that. We're capable of being competitive in every game. I think we've shown that, and I think the margins are important. We've got to get the right side of that. That's the only thing that's been missing when we haven't won, I think, when we've created chances, haven't scored goals, that sort of thing. But no, they're a good outfit. We've played them, as you said, a number of times this season, so we want the right outcome for ourselves.
So that was Sean Dyche speaking ahead of the game between Everton and Crystal Palace on Monday. The one game we are focusing on in the German Bundesliga at the moment is between Bochum and Bayern Munich. The players had walked off the field for a short time due to the tennis balls being thrown onto the pitch. But is the game getting close to being restarted, Kane Wiz?
Yeah, the players are just starting to enter the field of play again now, and it looks like it's going to start with a corner from Joshua Kimmich. But yeah, probably kills the momentum that Bayern Munich started to build up just in the early doors of that second half. But last time this happened in the first half, Bochum went and scored 2 goals, so hopefully an opportunity for them to continue to stay in the lead. But still, it's Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Thank you so much, Kane. We are approaching about 74 minutes in the game between Luton and Manchester United. Any more chances in the last few minutes, Jack Hesson?
Yeah, decent chance of Alejandro Garnacho. He found space just on the edge of the area. Hits a left-footed curler. It looks destined for the top right-hand corner, but it was former Manchester United man Hedin Mengi who was there to block the shot. Chances coming for Manchester United here. 75 minutes played. Luton 1, Man United 2.
Fantastic stuff there in the English Premier League. Just a reminder, earlier today in the Bundesliga, it finished 3-3 between Freiburg and Frankfurt, and it looks like the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich is about to resume. Let's give you some scores now from France's Ligue 1. It finished 3-1 to Lorient away at Strasbourg. Monaco lost 2-1 at home to Toulouse. Montpellier were 3-0 winners against Metz. Rennes beat Clermont 3-1. Reims and Lens finished 1-1, and the game a little bit later today in, about an hour and a half's time, is between Brest and Marseille. All right, I believe there's been a yellow card in the game between Luton and Manchester United. Jack Heston.
Yeah, yellow card for Kobe Mainu. It was the Luton man Jordan Clark. Substitutes just came on, advancing forward. Look at a really dangerous run through the middle, and Mainu just wipes him out for the free kick, which is about to be taken. A cynical foul, deserved yellow card. Man United struggling to deal with Luton going forward this afternoon. 75 minutes played, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Jack, what have you made of Mainu? He's been impressive the last few weeks. I've seen a lot of Manchester United fans on social media been talking about how he's the future of England's midfield, that he should be in the squad for the Euros, that he's destined to play alongside the likes of Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. How good a player do you think he is?
I think the early signs are there that he could absolutely be that kind of player. I think with a young player, you need a bit of patience. Usually what will happen is he'll come in, have a good stretch of games, and then consistency can fall off a little bit. You don't want to put them too much into the action at too much of a young age, and you don't want to put too much pressure on their shoulders either. But I think if he keeps going right and keeps going in the direction he's going in, he definitely could end up being at that level.
Yeah, we will have to see what happens. A lot of food for thought for the England manager Gareth Southgate, that's for sure. Now, Bayern Munich are trailing Bochum 2-1 in the German Bundesliga, but I believe they've had a big chance. Kane Wears.
Yeah, massive opportunity, and it seems like Bayern Munich have become Musiala FC, because it seems to just be give the ball to him and let him run, but he's driving down the left-hand side and he cuts the ball back to Harry Kane, and it seems to be the story of his afternoon. The ball just bounces off him, but it actually lands to Matthias de Ligt, and de Ligt fires a shot and it just sails over the crossbar. Really should get his head over the ball and just drive it nice and low, and he'd probably make that 2-2, but it still looks like Bayern Munich aren't learning from their mistakes of leaving two defenders, two centre-halves in Kim and de Ligt at the back, up against Deji and Brzezinski, because in turnovers they're getting so many opportunities in Bochum there. So, but yes, still Bochum 2, Bayern Munich 1.
Yes, fascinating. Harry Kane needing to get back on the score sheet. Before that match, Thomas Tuchel was saying that Bayern really needed to do better at trying to find him, at trying to give him a good supply. Have they done that at all today?
Yeah, do you know what? They've tried to find Harry Kane. I think the worry with this is that he hasn't actually been able to keep a hold of the ball, and where he would normally just get that good touch and pin that centre-half. It's just bounced off him all day today, and instead, I think probably about 25-30 minutes into the game, they've realised that he's not really holding the ball up and getting them on the pitch. Instead, they've went out wide to the likes of Muller, who's playing a little bit more inside, but more so Musiala out wide. And it looks really tough for Harry Kane, to be honest, in this team. And he doesn't look like he's getting much support around him, but he's not really making things happen for himself as well, even if it's little shots. I think I've only seen him have 1 or 2 shots go wide, and he's not really making things happen as to like what he did previously at Tottenham.
Yeah, and the first half of this season, he was pretty prolific at the first half of this season, but it's not really going right for him at the moment. Of course, he was linked with a possible move to Manchester United before he made that transfer over to Germany. And Manchester United have had a chance in their game against Luton. Jack Heston.
Yeah, great chance for Rasmus Højlund to bag the hat-trick there again. Man United hitting on the counter-attack. Rashford into Garnacho. Garnacho feeds in Højlund for about 8 yards. He's still got a lot to do. Gets a shot away, but a great save from Kaminski. And then just a couple of minutes before that as well, Carlton Morris got on the end of a cross in the middle of the box. He took one touch for composure from about 3 or 4 yards out, but scuffed his shot wide to the right-hand side. So chances are both in this game. It's not over yet. 80 minutes played. Still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much, Jack, in Serie A, it's in the second half of the game between Frosinone and Roma. It's now kicked off for the second half there, and it's Roma leading 1-0. And there's been a goal in the game in Spain between Mallorca and Real Sociedad. Sociedad have got an equaliser, Kubo with the goal. So it's now 1-1 between Mallorca and Real Sociedad in La Liga. Earlier today, Real Madrid being held to a 1-1 draw away at Rayo Vallecano, and in the battle at the bottom, it was Granada 1, Almeria 1. Kane Weirs, there's been a lot going on in this game between Bochum and Bayern Munich, and a lot of it has been off the field, and I believe there's something interesting going on the screens there.
Yeah, it's quite funny to see that we've got two clocks on the screens now. One actually for the gameplay and one actually for the protesters. The protesters are actually catching up in terms of game time played so far, and hopefully it keeps and stays what it is now. But a little bit of funny there as the banners go up again, and a full stand up in Bochum there. Showing the support towards not wanting the Bundesliga to sell the rights to outside firms in there, but a little bit of fun on a day of misery so far for Bayern Munich, but still Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Yes, a very interesting afternoon in the German Bundesliga, both on the pitch and technically off it. So our two games that are in action right now, it's 2-1 to Manchester United away at Luton. It's 2-1 to Bochum against Bayern Munich, as Kane just mentioned. So I think now is the perfect time to get some latest odds with NairaBet.
Here's John Kane with all the very latest odds from NairaBet.
Yes, all the latest odds from NairaBet. Of course, all these prices are subject to change. 82 minutes gone. Luton Town 1, Manchester United 2. If you fancy a Luton turnaround, it's 26.0. If you fancy a draw, it's 6.0. And if you think Man United will maintain that win, they're only 1.18. Bochum against Bayern Munich. Bochum are leading by 2-1. 64 minutes gone, if you believe the clock that Kane Weirs was talking about. Bochum are leading, however, and they're only slightly favourites at the moment. They're only 2.25 to maintain that lead. The draw is 3.0, and away win for Bayern Munich is 3.80. In Italian Serie A, 50 minutes gone, is still Frosinone 0, Roma 1. Frosinone are 7.50 for the win. The draw just come down to 3.80, and away win for Roma is 1.53. In Spanish La Liga, about 5 minutes left in the first half plus stoppage time, is Mallorca 1, Real Sociedad 1. Mallorca are 4.75 for the win, 2.25 for the draw, and it's 2.50 for Real Sociedad away win. If you go back for the English Premier League game, if you think it's going to be over 3.5 goals, which is one more goal in this game, it's 2.05. If you think it's going to be over 4.5 goals, what means 2 goals or more in the remaining time of this game, is 6.0. Now, if you think it's going to be a draw between Luton and Manchester United, and Bayern Munich to win that game, at the moment the odds on accumulator is 24.0. So it's 24.0 for accumulator if you think Luton will get a draw and Bayern Munich will win that game. Of course, all these prices from NairaBet, and is all subject to change.
Thank you so much, John. It is 2 games which are so finely poised. Luton 1, Manchester United 2, about 6 minutes left of normal time there. And we've got a lot of minutes. I can't really keep across all of those minutes in the game between Bochum and Bayern. But Kane Weirs, I believe there's been a couple of substitutes, and one of the changes nearly made an instant impact.
Yeah, a couple of changes for Bayern, and it's Leroy Sané and Zaragoza coming on for Joshua Kimmich and Maxim Choupo-Moting. And Joshua Kimmich looked completely dejected when he seen the board come up with his number on, and he just stood in the middle of the pitch with his hands out, and he's walked off and completely not noticed his manager and Thomas Tuchel, and then just sat on the bench with a coat on his head. I know there was a bit of rumour in the January transfer window about a move, and then it looks like there's no love lost there between them two, but actually Leroy Sané, who's came on, really should have actually had a good opportunity to equal the scoring for Bayern. It's Musiala again on the left hand side, and he just clips the ball just to the back post, and Sane is just peeling off Bernardo round the back, and just with his right foot just hits a volley and it just goes over the crossbar. So a good little opportunity for Leroy Sane, who surprisingly didn't start in today's game, but Bochum are still in the lead. It's Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live.
Football Live is back on Brilla FM next Saturday afternoon. Join Dean Kilford from 3:45, an action-packed afternoon of 6 featured matches in the Premier League. Manchester United against Fulham and the champions Manchester City make the trip to Bournemouth. And there's Bundesliga action too. Bayern Munich against Leipzig. Join us next Saturday for another action-packed show. Football Live, exclusive on Brilla FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. They're the proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bet must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to Football Live
to Football Live
on Brilla FM.
On Brilla FM. Let's get back to the big match action.
Get it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Richard Parr.
Hello, welcome back to Football Live on Brilla FM. It's been a fantastic afternoon of football. We've been giving you updates from the Premier League to the Bundesliga to Serie A to the Eredivisie to La Liga. If there's been a goal, we've pretty much been across it. And there's been 3 of them in the game between Luton and Manchester United. 2 of them were scored by Rasmus Højlund. But I believe Jack Hessen, he's not going to get a hat-trick.
Yeah, he's not going to get a hat-trick. He's been taken off, a sign of Ten Hag's intent for this remaining 3 minutes plus added time. He's been taken off. It's Moroccan Sofan Amrabat, holding midfielder, that comes on in his stead. So a change of shape there for Ten Hag, and it looks like they're going to try and see this one out. We've had a couple of bookings as well. Gabriel Osho, centre-half for Luton, and also Victor Lindelof for Man United, both in the book for cynical fouls to try and stop counter-attacks. 87 minutes on the clock, still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Jack, I always feel that when those substitutions are made, where you take off an attacking player and bring on either an extra defender or a holding midfielder, you are often inviting too much pressure. Are Luton on the attack? Could they maybe continue, and could they perhaps get an equaliser now that Manchester United have made this change?
Yeah, I actually think if you're Luton, then you're looking at that as an encouraging sign that Man United are going to be sitting back a bit more, because they haven't handled the pressure well. It's a leaky back line and they don't look too secure with Johnny Evans, Lindelof. They've looked dodgy for most of the game. And yeah, it really does look like the case where I think Luton will see that as an encouraging sign to try and get an equaliser in this game.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. We'll keep an eye on that game. Just 90 seconds or so left in normal time in that match between Luton Town and Manchester United. And in fact, I believe there's been another chance for United, Jack.
Yeah, just as you left me there, goal kick there. Thomas Kaminski, he completely botches the goal kick, falls straight to Bruno Fernandes, bearing down on goal, tries to a low-driven shot into the bottom right-hand corner, and it goes an inch wide of the goal. A great chance for Man United to put this game on ice, but we're still going here. 89 minutes on the clock. Luton 1, Man United 2.
Whatever happens in this game, Manchester United will end the day in 6th place in the English Premier League. If they can get this win, they'll close down Tottenham, who are in 5th. They're on 47 points. Aston Villa are on 49 points. Tottenham had a very disappointing day on Saturday. They lost at home 2-1 to Wolves. Let's get some reaction now from their manager, Ange Postecoglou. Well, we'll get some reaction in just a moment from Ange Postecoglou. We are keeping across all of these games in the English Premier League, in the Bundesliga. And let's get the latest now in the game in the Bundesliga between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Kane Wears, what's been happening?
Yeah, there's actually an injury at the minute with Sturger in some pain after a crunching challenge from Goretzka, and how this isn't being checked, I don't really know, but Bochum are doing really well just to keep their shape and make sure they're not too deep and not inviting the pressure from Bayern Munich. Bayern's only real chances, Zaragoza, who's just came on, had quite an easy effort, but really since the second fan protest, similar to the first in the first half, it's really killed Bayern Munich, it has, and stopped them really getting in the game. So yeah, there's a couple of opportunities now from Bochum where they're putting things in the box now, different to the first half where they were being direct with the ball on the floor. They're getting the ball out wide and really challenging the two centre halves that way. But yeah, the game's obviously being stopped at the minute as Sturger's being looked at, but still Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Thank you very much, Kane Wears. Jack Hessen, the fourth official, has just raised the board in the game between Luton Town and Manchester United. And I've got to say, Jack, it feels a very small number when you think about all the balls that have been going up this season in the English Premier League.
It does. I mean, I'd say not that long ago, you would look at 4 minutes of added time and think that was quite a lot. But nowadays you look at it and you go, well, it's actually not a lot at all. I mean, it really kind of reflects the second half. There hasn't been a lot of injury stoppages. There hasn't been necessarily a lot of fouls. And I think that maybe is fair, but probably still is a wee bit on the short side, given the standards that are now being set for added time. But still, a couple of minutes left for Luton to try and get an equaliser in this game. 92 minutes on the clock. Still Luton 1, Man United 2.
Thank you so much. Just a few moments ago, we were talking about how Wolves got a fantastic win away at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's have a listen to their manager, Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, obviously result excellent. To come to Tottenham and win is not easy. So yeah, fantastic result for us. Yeah, I thought we were excellent really. We were able to counter-attack well. One thing which we know we're going to be able to do. When Tottenham pressed us, the lads being able to find real good solutions in the structure to cause them problems in possession as well as just counter. And then we knew we would be able to press aggressively sometimes, and we would have to be in a real compact low block and try and make the spaces as small as possible for them in others. And if they were the 4 key parts to the game plan, I thought we were near enough perfect in all of them today. So credit to the group.
Wolves manager Gary O'Neill there on the 2-1 win away at Tottenham on Saturday. They're currently 11th in the table on 35 points, same amount of points as Chelsea, but they're on -1 goal difference. Chelsea are on 1. We are getting towards the end of 2 games here on Football Live on Brilla FM. One is between Bochum and Bayern Munich, but there has also been a good chance in the game between Luton and Manchester United, which is in stoppage time. Jack Hessen.
Yeah, chance for Garnacho to finish things off here from a tight angle. Good interchange of play from a counter-attack between Fernandes and Rashford. Rashford then set up Garnacho to go in on goal, but had a tight angle, went for the shot, but well blocked by Teden Mengi. So United had a good chance there to try and secure things. Luton still in this game at the moment. 1 minute left of added time. It's Luton 1, Man United 2.
You've mentioned Garnacho a few times in this afternoon, Jack. It sounds like he's been creating opportunities without quite putting them away. How would you evaluate his performance overall?
I think he's been the focal point in the game. I think a lot of them were unlucky. There's been deflected efforts. The main one, the big one, was that one-on-one opportunity where he rounded Kaminski. Really should have scored, and he didn't. And yeah, there's not a lot of time left, but Luton could still capitalise on that error from about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's getting very close there. I believe it's barely, 30 seconds. It's certainly a thrilling game. And I believe there's now been a chance for Luton. Jack Hessen.
Oh, this game just keeps giving. Ross Barkley, the former Chelsea man, has just hit the bar from a corner. It looked like a great header, glancing towards the top left-hand corner, off the bar. That was Luton's chance to get the equaliser. We're in 94th minutes now. It's Luton 1, Man United 2.
Oh, that was so close there for Luton Town. Harry Styles is in the crowd watching on, a certain pop star, and it was nearly Luton who were able to get an equaliser in that game at Kenilworth Road between Luton and Manchester United. And I believe we now have the full-time whistle. I believe that's just blown at Kenilworth Road. We'll get a report on that very shortly from Jack Hessen. But, before we go there, I think we need to go over to Germany because I believe there has been a red card in the game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Kane Wears.
Completely sums up Bayern Munich today. A ball comes in from Bernardo, just whips the ball in from a corner. Upamecano just jumps up and randomly handballs it, like sort of punches it away and gives away a penalty. The referee's got no other option but to show him a red card. There's no need for VAR to look at this. Upamecano, I think, actually got sent off in midweek as well in the Champions League. And it looks like Sturger's going to be stepping up to take the penalty. Absolutely crazy defending, but while we wait for the penalty to be taken, it's Bochum 2, Bayern 1.
Yeah, as soon as that happens, we will bring you the latest here on Football Live. And in fact, the penalty has been taken and there has been a goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, it's been a cracking game between Bochum and Bayern Munich. Kane, tell us about the penalty.
Yeah, and it's Sturger who only about a minute or so beforehand actually I thought was going off and injured, and he's fired it in on the right hand side past Manuel Neuer in goal. Really comfortable and makes no mistakes with it. Fully deserved so far, but Bayern and Thomas Tuchel are in deep trouble. 78 minutes played. It's Bochum 3, Bayern 1.
Yes, what an absolute disaster for Thomas Tuchel and his team. They lost 3-0 last weekend to Bayer Leverkusen. They lost 1-0 in midweek to Lazio in the first leg of the last 16. They had a player sent off there, and they've had another player sent off in their game today, which they're losing 3-1. An absolute terrible day if you are a fan of Bayern Munich. But the full-time whistle has blown at Kenilworth Road between Luton and Manchester United. How has it finished, Jack Hessen?
It's finished 2-1 to Manchester United, but a hard-fought Luton Town team really made them work for it and getting the applause of the home fans for their efforts in this game today. It was a calamitous start for them in the opening 7 minutes. Rasmus Højlund at the double. First one pouncing on the end of an Amari Bell error, and the second one chesting it in from a Garnacho volley. From then, Carlton Morris on 14 minutes got Luton back into the game with a close range header, and Luton looked like the team on the ascendancy, dominating the possession stats, dominating the chances. Going into the second half, United had two excellent opportunities to ice the game, both one-on-ones, one from Fernandes and one from Garnacho. Luton again looking dangerous throughout the game, but Man United able to see it out here. Full time at Kenilworth Road. Luton 1, Man United 2.
4 wins on the bounce in the English Premier League now for Manchester United. A very important win for them, winning 2-1 away at Luton. Our show is about to end, but let's get one last update from Kane Wears. Are Bayern Munich going to get into this game whatsoever?
No, and it sums up completely the game for Bayern Munich when they've kicked off, and straight away from Lucilla, he's pinched the ball for Bochum and looked to drive straight away at the back line with Kim and Matthias de Ligt there at Bayern Munich, and nearly got an opportunity away. Completely deserved, and with 10 minutes still left to play, Bochum 3, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you so much, Kane Wiz, and thank you to all of our reporters who've been giving us excellent analysis throughout the afternoon. We've really had a fantastic day of football. We've been reporting on games from the English Premier League, where Brighton were 5-0 winners at Sheffield United, where Manchester United have beaten Luton Town 2-1 in the Bundesliga. It was Freiburg 3, Frankfurt 3. Bochum are leading 3-1 against Bayern Munich. Ajax were held to a 2-2 draw, and Rayo Vallecano and Real Madrid drew 1-1 in La Liga. It's been a fantastic weekend of football. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage this afternoon on Brilla FM. I've been Richard Parr, and you've been listening to Football Live.
You have been listening to Football Live, exclusive to Brilla FM, sponsored by NairaBet.